It's part of everything we grow, manufacture, and build, and it's irreplaceable. One company is there to make sure our world's most precious resource never goes away. U.S. Filter. We're there restoring water supplies around the globe, providing the water that powers cities. In the fields, recycling river water to make desert lands fertile. In the islands, turning seawater into drinking water. In millions of homes, providing better water with our Culligan products. In factories, in laboratories, on land, offshore, in communities, in faraway places, and in your home, the world's largest water treatment company is there. U.S. Filter, taking care of the world's water and yours.
You're looking at one of the most respected defensive players in the country. He's almost a legend in the Pac-10 Conference. Chris McAllister, the cornerback for Arizona, also has returned a couple of kicks for touchdowns. A very dangerous, tremendously talented player, considered a can't-miss star in the NFL next season. But Steve Cyphers reports on McAllister, who had to come back from adversity, a one-game disciplinary action at the start of this season.
In a season in which Arizona's Chris McAllister was nearly flawless on the field, the consensus All-American suffered one major blemish off the field. The NCAA suspended McAllister for one game in October after ruling he'd accepted a $14,000 loan that was made against potential future earnings, a benefit not available to the general student body. Many disagreed with the judgment, including McAllister, who declined to talk about it until now.
It kind of took me by surprise emotionally, and I really wasn't prepared to handle. I always had a positive outlook, like I'll be able to play, you know, it's not that serious, I didn't do anything wrong.
When we found out Chris couldn't go to Washington, we met with the team, and Chris was in the meeting, and I told Chris, I want you there, because I want you to get a feel for how strongly this team feels about you.
We worked real hard for this team and everything, did a lot for this team, so it's like, well, you know, we got to go out there and do it for them.
Helplessly, McAllister watched the game on TV. But then he felt the excitement as the Wildcats rallied to score on the final play of the game. The team then dedicated its 31-28 win over Washington to their absent captain.
When the camera came on me, I just pointed to the camera and I said, I told you, Chris, I told you it's going to get it done.
Back home, the message was heard loud and clear.
And hear Coach Tony and hear the rest of my teammates, OJ say, this one's for you, Chris Mack, and Coach Tony. I mean, that really took me by surprise. That's what prompted me to go to make sure I was there at the airport when they got back, to show them how much, you know, I really cared about them.
That was probably the greatest single piece of leadership that he's ever shown.
4 o'clock in the morning, most people sleep. He goes out there and right there crying and hugging every single person that walks off the plane. So I knew he was a true team player right there.
It was just really tremendous. And I told my wife, Nancy, I started to cry. I just said, because that, now, holy cow, you know, I just had no words for that.
A potential crisis turned catalyst in developing chemistry for the Cats. A potential crisis turned lesson for McAllister.
There's always going to be some sort of obstacle in my way in life, and you just have to stay strong and stay on the straight and narrow, and you can overcome any hurdle that gets in your way.
And as a team leader, McAllister well aware, Kirk, of the importance to his program in this game tonight against Nebraska.
You know, as much as people talk about Arizona, this is a big win for them, a big opportunity for a big win. I think it's just as big, maybe bigger for Nebraska. After all, they're the team that had, quote-unquote, a down year. It's going to be a shootout, high scoring. Arizona has better talent at the skill positions. Can they match Nebraska's toughness is the big question. I think they will. I think Arizona wins with a field goal late in the fourth quarter to get it done.
Good.
You like that one?
The first not so fast in the bowl week. Nebraska, urgency, redemption, toughness. Nebraska wins this football game. And by the way, I'm 7-6 ahead of you.
And if they win, they won't have to wash the uniforms in hot water and bleach, like you say, and be called the Big Pink. The D train. Can D'Angelo Evans come back and give Coach Solich a big play threat at running back? That's going to be very key. Enjoy the first half. We'll see you back here at halftime from Tempe. But up next, that anticipated Culligan Holiday Bowl matchup, the Wildcats and the Cornhuskers.
Check out SportsCenter every night for a preview of the 1999 ESPYs, and then hit ESPN.com for a full slate of this year's nominees. See how your picks stack up against ESPN's when the awards are televised February 15th. Watch SportsCenter and log on to ESPN.com for a complete ESPY preview.
exclusive presentation of Bowl Week.
Jenkins straight back to throw. He's going to run. Jenkins at the 5. He dives for the end zone. He did. Touchdown, Arizona. Incredible. Arizona.
Arizona's never had a better football season. 11 wins directed by 2 quarterbacks, a future Heisman candidate, and 2 game-changing wide receivers. It's no longer just about D in the desert. But the Desert Swarm radar is still trained on the opposition. Fueled by aggression, the Arizona defense is still disruptive, getting pressure up front. And from the back, protected by All-America Chris McAllister. Nebraska football is about legends. On the sideline, starting with Devaney. On the field with Johnny Rodgers. Continued by a quarter century and 3 titles with Osborne, led by stars like Tommy Frazier. Now it's Frank Solich's turn. Take the same formula and still succeed. His first team has overcome injury and uncertainty on a run to a 30th straight bowl. But tonight, Big Red Spain black shirt defense faces a stiff test to make 98 a happy Husker holiday season. The 21st Culligan Holiday Bowl comes just a few miles from the Pacific Ocean. And it's a sea of red in Qualcomm Stadium here in San Diego as number 16 Nebraska takes on number 6 Arizona. The Wildcats a great year. 11 wins. Only really 1 quarter away against UCLA from playing not in the Rose Bowl, but in the Fiesta Bowl for the national championship. Tonight, they play 4 quarters away from school history. This team could be the best ever at Arizona. Hi, everyone. Glad you're with us. The place is full and jacked, and we're happy. Mike Tirico, Todd Blackledge, who, of course, quarterback Penn State to the national championship. Well, you talk about Arizona, and you've always talked about defense, but not this year. Why has it been a different year, and what must they do tonight, Todd?
Well, I think the difference this year is offensively. I don't know I've ever seen Arizona with so much talent and skill on the offensive side of the ball. Everybody talks about their 2 quarterbacks, but look at the guys they've been able to get the football to. You've got tailback Tron Candidate, who actually missed 2 games because of injury, still comes back to run for over 1,200 yards. You've got Kelvin Ephon, the other back, 16 touchdowns, none over 10 yards, but a guy who can score. Then you've got a pair of receivers, outstanding. Dennis Northcutt, 63 catches and 6 touchdowns. He's a guy who can take the short one and go the distance. And Jeremy McDaniel, the bigger, more physical guy, can get down the field and throw deep. They've had great weapons. Tonight, they must continue to establish themselves physically in the trenches against this Nebraska team, but they can't forget what got them here. That's utilizing that whole arsenal.
Well, this is a strange year. It's the first time since 1980 Nebraska's not in a game on New Year's Day or beyond. They are a field goal away from winning 4 of the last 5 national titles. This year, 9 wins. What's gone wrong, and what do they need to do tonight to win a 10th game?
Well, they really have been banged up this year, but aside from that, you can look at big plays. That's been a problem for Nebraska. They've given up too many on defense, particularly in the passing game, and they've not generated enough on offense, particularly in their running game, which usually is their strength. One guy who can change that tonight is quarterback Eric Crouch. He's more comfortable with this offense. He's starting his 4th game in a row now. He's got to make plays, running the football, running the option, and I think for Nebraska to win tonight, Eric Crouch must have a big game throwing the football against this Arizona defense.
And they have a weapon back, the D-train, D'Angelo Evans, the I-back injured most of the year. We'll see action tonight. The 1998 Culligan Holiday Bowl, a sellout crowd on hand. See if Arizona can become the first Pac-10 team ever to win this bowl game.
Let's get going. Okay, there is no time to lose. Subscribers are waiting. We have to send out these official ESPN the Magazine duffel bags ASAP. Right, buddy?
Oh, ESPN the Magazine duffel bag. All right.
Subscribe now to ESPN the Magazine and get your sports the way it ought to be. Big and bold with unbelievable photos, honest interviews, previews, and predictions. The teams to beat and the players to watch.
Ralph, I'm begging you, man.
Help me. Believe we're giving these away for free?
Get 26 issues, a year's worth for just $1 an issue. That's 66% off the newsstand price. And with your paid subscription, you'll get your own ESPN the Magazine duffel bag, absolutely free.
I wonder what lucky new subscriber is going to get this one, huh?
No subscriber is going to get that one unless you put it in a box.
Call now, 1-800-540-1155.
On this glorious night here in Southern California, we haven't told you yet about perhaps the best player on the field. For that, the best man on the sideline, our third guy, Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you very much, Michael, and happy holidays, everyone. You know, there may only be one consensus All-American on the football field tonight, but he is a good one. We're talking about Arizona's senior Wildcat, Chris McAllister, who was named the nation's MVP on special teams. Why? Because he became just the 7th player in NCAA college football history to return a kickoff, a punt, of course, and an interception back for a touchdown, all in the same year. His teammates say when he touches the football, the band gets ready to play.
Deep to McAllister at the goal line. He'll bring it out near side to the 10, out to the 15, 20, got hold, 25, 30, one man to beat, over the 40. He is gone. He'll take it at his own 32, got a block. Far side, 35-40, down the sideline, 45-40, 35-30, 25-20, 15, intercepted by McAllister. Back to the 15, down to the Cougar 40, 35-30, 35-20, 10-5, touchdown Arizona.
It may be hard to believe, but as good as he is on special teams, he's even better as a defensive back. Arizona head coach Dick Tomey said he's not just the best defensive back he's ever coached, he's the best defensive back he's ever seen in college football in 22 years of coaching. And Mike, that is one heck of an endorsement.
Well, speaking of endorsements, Dick Tomey got one in between the end of the regular season and tonight, a 5-year contract extension at age 60. This man is the winningest coach in Arizona history. On the opposite sideline, 54-year-old Frank Solich. Tonight ends the most rewarding and at the same time perhaps the toughest year of this man's life. Few could follow Tom Osborne's quarter century, lose 9 starters to injury, and still win 9 games. That's what Frank Solich did this year. These two teams have 2 opponents in common. Nebraska played 2 Pac-10 teams this year. In Cal and Washington, you see the dominance over Washington. That's the one game D'Angelo Evans was healthy for. He returns to the lineup tonight. Both teams beat the Bears. Here's the man Jerry spoke of earlier, Chris McAllister. Great career average, back deep to receive the kick. Nebraska won the toss, deferred the option to the second half. First round kick, and we are underway in the Holiday Bowl. McAllister from the 3. The handle and got it right back at the 15. Theo Craver hit him and knocked it up in the air. So Arizona takes the field. Let's check out their offense. You know about the 2 quarterbacks, Pete Smith and Ortiz Jenkins. Smith is the starter. Strong candidate, 7.3 yards per carry. Watch for Ifan coming off an ankle injury in practice this week. Receivers, Northcutt, the game breaker, 63 receptions. McDaniel's second team All Pac-10. Up front, this unit making its 13th start. Nobody's missed a game because of injury. Yusuf Scott may be the best. He may be going pro. He is a junior. Mulatalo, the left tackle, is the only senior. First drive of the Holiday Bowl starts from Arizona's 16. Some trickery, but Nebraska not fooled as candidate is pulled down by Mike Rucker, the rush end for the Cornhuskers. Let's look at that Nebraska defense, highlighted by Rucker, I should say. 4 tackles in his first 4 games. He was hurt. He's come on the last 7 to finish off a good season. Middle linebacker is Jay Foreman, son of Chuck Foreman, the great running back in Minnesota Viking days. Buck is semifinalist this year. Johnson is from the Phoenix area. In the backfield, Mike Brown from Scottsdale, Arizona, the top tackler. Mr. Sweeney, number 16, will be tested tonight. After losing 2, Smith on the option beaten. Just to the 17, the tackle made by Tony Ortiz and Lauren Kaiser.
P. Smith has really had an outstanding season this year, again playing in split duty, but he's completed nearly 69% of his passes. He's also a very gifted runner. You see Arizona trying to mix a little option in early, trying to give Nebraska as much as they can different to look at here in the opening series of the ball game.
If Smith had 15 more pass attempts, he would have been the second-rated passer in the country. He can get him over the 26 here. And very close to the first down on the pass to Dennis Northcutt, the junior from L.A.
Well, you called it, Mike. They went right after Sweeney, the first true passing situation. They got him isolated in man-to-man. One-on-one coverage, that's what they wanted. Here's Northcutt. You got to respect his speed. You give him the cushion early. Sweeney a little bit slow getting out of the break, and they are going to go after him and find out how good he is tonight.
You see, they are that short from the first down, so Arizona 3 and out. Ryan Springston is on to punt the ball away. Nebraska puts 3 deep men back there. They are missing Joe Walker, their best punt returner. Not a great pick by Springston. Wiggins lost it. Picked up by Arizona. Finally, McAllister comes up with the recovery. Special teams mistake for the Cornhuskers, and the absence of Joe Walker is felt right away.
It seems like a very basic thing to say, but the first thing you have to do is secure the catch, and Wiggins, right through the breadbasket, never really secured the catch. He was in good position. There weren't too many people around him, but he never made a clean catch. We saw McAllister fumble the opening kickoff, but they got it back. McAllister comes up with the ball for Arizona, so a huge play in the kicking game goes the way of Arizona.
It won't count as a big play, but it's a 54-yard gain.
The option here. This is a good set for them to run a tricky option.
It swings the pass out to McDaniel across the 15 and to the 13-yard line. Mike Brown made the tackle. On the punt, covering the special teams player of the year naturally, McAllister finally the man to fall on it.
You know, and whether or not Nebraska knows that he was awarded the special teams player of the year or not, just from film, they should know that they should be putting 2 guys on him. As he's the gunner on the outside, he's going to beat anybody one-on-one. You take a look at Joe Walker. He was the best special teams player from Nebraska before being hurt. Better double McAllister on coverage.
All Shields in motion on 2nd and 1. Here is Kennedy. Sprung goes to the 6. Nearly had it pulled away by Jay Foreman, the 240-pound senior, who says his first of many hellos to Trump Kennedy tonight. First down, Arizona.
We'll see a lot of that H-back and that movement and trying to run from the one-back offense. They added that after the UCLA game. UCLA held them to 90 yards rushing, and they felt that they needed to get better running the football. They put that package in, and they've really been a better team running the football ever since they've done it.
Brandon Nash, the receiver at the top of the screen. Kennedy tries to run left. Stopped by the right side of the Nebraska defense. Rucker leading the charge, 84, along with Tony Ortiz from Waterbury, Connecticut.
Both of these defenses, Mike, very difficult to get outside and run on. They both have enough athletes that can run on defense to get to the outside. You've got to hit it up in there pretty good. This is a counter play, normally designed to come up inside. Tough to bounce that play outside against a team that can run defensively like Nebraska.
Charlie McBride's been the Nebraska defensive coordinator for more than 2 decades. 2nd and goal. Hit to the air. Incomplete. That was nearly intercepted by Ralph Brown on the corner. Eric Johnson putting some heat on it. That did not look like a good pass at all.
Well, that's one of those, as soon as it leaves your hand, you wish you could pull it back because you see late that there's not what you want. Watch as Keith Smith lets this one go. If that ball's a little bit lower, it's an easy interception, and Ralph Brown maybe goes all the way the other way. Fortunately for Keith Smith, the ball was too high for Ralph Brown to come down with it.
3rd down coming. Arizona proficient in this category this year. 3 receivers. flag is down.
I think Arizona's going to be holding on to play. Back this one up.
SEC officials, and that's the call. Erase the 6 for the Wildcats. So Dick Tomey's team sees points come off the board for the holding penalty. Rogers Redding leading the Southeastern Conference officiating crew.
On the offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay.
Take a look right here at Stephen Grace. I think this maybe is where it came. You see the good move inside by Lauren Kaiser. Right there, he's the one who's going to put pressure on Smith. Stephen Grace was beat by a good move by Lauren Kaiser. In the films that we watched, Mike, those two inside tackle positions for Nebraska didn't do a very good job getting off of blocks this year. That was a good effort by Lauren Kaiser drawing the penalty.
3rd and goal, they changed to a shotgun and flip sides with the receivers. Northcutt moved to the top of the screen. Smith tried to swing from Northcutt. Jason Wilkes got in the way. 4th down. Arizona had it inside the 10 off a mistake in special teams by Nebraska. Now they're going to have to try a field goal, and that hasn't been any sort of a guarantee for the Wildcats this year. Mark McDonald, 8 of 17 on his field goals this year. This will be a 39-yarder. He's made half of these, 4 of 8. The punter, Springston Hole. Right down the middle. Mark McDonald from Santa Monica, California, puts up the first point to the Culligan Holiday Bowl. Arizona leads 3-0.
The new Acura RL has distinctive styling to appeal to your elegant side. A performance-tuned suspension to satisfy your assertive side. And a sophisticated front and side airbag system to protect both sides. The new RL from Acura.
My dad taught me what it means to be a true fan. What it means to come out and give 110%. Right, Dad? Yeah! I'm more the quiet type. Well, the cold doesn't bother me so much. It's the chili dogs. Oh, that's why I bring out the Rolaids.
Rolaids starts to neutralize acid in less than 10 seconds, getting you back on your game fast.
It's just like Grandpa always says. You got to be your best out here.
Rolaids, R-O-L-A-I-D-S, spells relief.
Mom doesn't make it out to the games. I don't know why.
It's a pure, cold shower from nature. Bringing life to your home, to the world. Culligan is water, water for life. Culligan is water, water for life.
Culligan, proud sponsor of the Culligan Holiday Bowl.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of Bowl Week and the 1998 Culligan Holiday Bowl is presented by Culligan, proud sponsor of the Culligan Holiday Bowl, and in part by Rolaids. Rolaids, R-O-L-A-I-D-S, spells relief.
Arizona made a mistake. Nebraska made a mistake. It ends up as a field goal for the Wildcats, the number 6 team in the country, leading Nebraska 3-0. 4 minutes in. Mark McDonald now set to kick off. Oh, their kickoff specialist, Michael Johnson, had an injury late in the season. McDonald had to take off the kickoff duties, take over the kickoff duties. Is not as good at this specialty, and it shows right there. So here comes Eric Crouch leading the Nebraska offense on the field. Let's check him out. In the backfield with Crouch, Buckhalter, the I-back, and Joel Makovica. No Nebraska fullback ever has scored more touchdowns. The receivers, Kenny Cheatham, has 13 catches, can make a big play, but be careful of Sheldon Jackson, first team All Big 12 tight end. Up front, Josh Heskew, the only senior. He's kept the line together. Riola gets to start, a very promising big young man, 300-pounder out of Honolulu. Cornhusker drive starting from the 35. It begins with the option. Here's Buckhalter. Burrell gets a big 8 to about the 43-yard line. Scooter Sprock made the tackle. Here is that Arizona defense. They've allowed 18 points a game this year. Daniel Greer, first-team All-Pac-10, 9 sacks. Frazier's a freshman. The other two guys on the ends, sophomores. Linebackers, Marcus Bell, top tackler, Pac-10. First-team All-Pac-10. Polk, the most important guy, the whip back. And in the secondary, Rafael Jones, San Diego native, returns home. On second down, Buckhalter up the middle for the first down. You saw that Heskew lost his headgear, but didn't get too nasty in it.
You know, Mike, I really expect early in this ball game, within the next couple plays, Nebraska is going to try to throw the ball down the field over the top of the Arizona defense. Arizona, I think, wants to come out and establish that they can stand up to this physical style of Nebraska, and I would expect to see a play-action pass looking to try to get the ball to tight end Sheldon Jackson early.
Crouch is a good thrower of the ball. They're on Buckhalter. Eluded the Sprott tackle and got it across midfield for about 5 yards. It was Daniel Greer who had to eventually track him down and shaken up down on the field.
It was interesting when we talked to Rich Ellerson, the defensive coordinator at Arizona. He said, you know, we're used to lining up against guys who are bigger than us. I mean, that's always the case. We're not used to lining up against big guys who are as athletic and mobile as this offensive line of Nebraska. It's going to be a real challenge because they do a great job getting through to the next level of blocks.
Second and 6. They pull back, and Crouch looks down the middle. Down the sideline and incomplete for Cheatham. You had talked about Sheldon Jackson down the middle, and that was one of the places that the route was going, but he went for Cheatham, the senior out of Phoenix, Arizona.
But the principle is exactly right. They wanted to see Arizona come up and really try to force the run. Look at all those blue jerseys up there around the football. They're going to fake the option, draw everybody up, and then right there, I mean, he's got Cheatham wide open, running in space. Can't get him the football. Eric Crouch needs to make some plays like that in this ballgame.
Third and 6. Billy Haskins, 80, checks into the lineup. Option with Macavicka, the senior fullback for the first down. Across the 35, he picked up 17 yards. Jackson threw a nice block for Macavicka, who made a good run.
You know, you mentioned no fullbacks ever scored as many touchdowns as Macavicka. What makes him special, though, is he is a gifted runner. Most fullbacks at Nebraska are purely blockers. They can fall forward for a couple yards. But this guy, in his career, has averaged over 5.9 yards per carry. He's a guy who can really run with the football. He's got good speed, good vision. Anytime you can use a fullback as the pitch man on an option, you know he's got some skill.
First down, Buckhalter ran into his offensive lineman, the freshman Raiola, and Keone Frazier, another Hawaiian, got a chance to clean things up. This Arizona defense is a little bit different. People have seen it a lot when they had the great desert swarm of Waldrop and all those guys, and Teddy Bruschi. It was new to everyone. Now they've seen it. How do you attack what they do defensively?
Well, you try to catch them at their own game a little bit. They try to jump around and stem around. Sometimes you can get them by lining up quick and running the football right at them.
Second down, Crouch's pass is deflected and was caught by Tracy Wistrop, the tight end, who is the brother of former Nebraska great Grant Wistrop. It'll be third down and about 7.
You know, they line up in some different ways on defense. As you take a look at their numbers this season, they did a great job of stopping the run, and that's where it all starts for them. But basically, it's still, they try to get 7 or 8 guys around the line of scrimmage. They just kind of line them up in different places than most folks do. You just got to count the numbers and see where your best advantage is.
Third down, they got quarterback draw, but it was snuffed out by Deshaun Polk. Polk, 31 and 40 Bell are the playmakers on this defense. Deshaun Polk, the Californian, forces fourth down.
Well, Polk that time lined up outside. Now, he started the game lining up inside. You've got to be aware of where Deshaun Polk is. He's that whip linebacker, and he can line up in a lot of different ways. That time he moved outside of the formation and got in a position where Nebraska wasn't ready to block him.
Crouch is the holder for Chris Brown. who scored more points than anyone in the history of the school, will now try a 51-yard field goal, which would equal his career long. It was blocked. I think Peter Hansen got a piece of it. And Nebraska falls on it near midfield. Hansen, the third-string quarterback on this Arizona team, blocked an extra point earlier this year. He's a big leaper. And his over-the-top jumps are the reason he plays special teams. All 6'7" of Peter Hansen gets in the way of the Chris Brown kick. Second special teams mistake by Nebraska. Arizona ball at midfield.
Holiday greetings from Budweiser. From our family to yours, we wish you a very safe and happy holiday season. No matter what you drive, import or domestic, Pep Boys has your battery. Get any ProStart 75-month battery from $39.99. ProStart name brand quality battery starting at a low price of just $39.99. Pep Boys.
Cars like us, people love us.
The new Acura RL has distinctive styling to appeal to your elegant side. A performance-tuned suspension to satisfy your assertive side. And a sophisticated front and side airbag system to protect both sides. The new RL from Acura.
Southern Showdown as Aaron Brooks and the Cavaliers battle Quincy Carter and the Dogs. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, Georgia, Virginia at 5, Thursday on ESPN.
And we welcome you back to Qualcomm Stadium here in San Diego for the 21st Annual Culligan Holiday Bowl. Now, we might be getting ready to see a little bit of razzle-dazzle from the Arizona offense. Both quarterbacks huddling up on the sidelines, Ortiz Jenkins and Keith Smith getting ready to go in the football game. So, guys, Arizona may be getting ready to turn up the wick a little bit offensively.
Well, Doc's right on that. I mean, he's been following that all week and talking to Dino Babers, the offensive coordinator, and both the quarterbacks. That's one of the luxuries of staying in the same hotel as a team for a couple of days. And they are, in fact, bringing them both on the field. So they can do a couple different things from this. They can throw it to Jenkins. They can put him in and throw him the football, or they can run an option. Let's see what they choose to do with both quarterbacks in.
Jenkins goes in motion from under center. Smith is back in the shotgun. They may try to throw to Jenkins here. Smith looks the other way and goes deep. Incomplete. Ralph Brown recovers on Northman, and no flag thrown. Just deception there.
Ortiz slapping his chest saying, man, if you're going to put me in the game and run me on a pass route, at least give me a chance to make a catch. He was used as a decoy that time. They tried to go against Ralph Brown, and Ralph Brown is an outstanding corner, was in great position to make coverage on that play.
Well, Jenkins has 3 receptions this year, so this is not totally out of the extraordinary for Arizona.
Well, you see, he's got a free safety, Clint Finley, out there, not used to covering man-to-man. He had him turned around, could have made the catch.
From the 49, they run Kennedy. Crumb's got nowhere to go. Eric Johnson, perhaps the fastest player on this Nebraska unit, from Arizona, made the play. Grew up in Phoenix, did Eric.
Eric Johnson playing a little bit banged up, dislocated his shoulder in the season finale against Colorado, probably playing in a little bit of pain, but a tough kid's had a great year, leads the team in sacks coming from that outside linebacker position.
Kelvin Ephon is now the lone back. 3 receivers. 3rd and 8 for Keith Smith in Arizona. Quarterback draw. Down he goes. Jason Wilkes catches him behind the line of scrimmage.
Mike, we sat down in the film room today and watched film against Kansas State, and the defensive tackles for Nebraska had so much trouble getting off of blocks, but so far tonight, Wilkes and Kaiser are doing a great job. Take a look inside now. Watch Wilkes. Watch the little move as he's working in here on The guard, nice quick move, gets off the ball. I guess that extra rest for the bowl week working out.
Ryan Springston, the punter. It hit an Arizona player, not a Nebraska player. But even though it's down to the 3, the ball's going to be spotted at the 17-yard line. Bobby Bernard, the SEC field judge, was all over that. The Nebraska drive start will be outside of the 15. We'll step aside for a minute. 5:46 left. First quarter. Arizona by 3.
This simple-looking device is...
When you're hungry for real country barbecue and your appetite just won't quit, Sonny's has all the sliced pork you can eat, slow cooking in our hardwood pit. We serve it fast and friendly with garlic bread, coleslaw, and French fries until you've had your fill and that appetite's satisfied. Sonny's all-you-can-eat sliced pork. Yummy.
When we add on to our new building, we're going to have to expand our security system, our surveillance cameras, our fire alarm, telephone system, and paging system. I better get on the phone and call somebody to arrange all this.
Total Technical Solutions. Dwayne Ellis can take care of all of those systems for you. Total Technical Solutions can even advise you on whether your system will be large enough or advanced enough to handle current or future needs. Total Technical Solutions, your one total source for professional security and communication solutions.
So I'm on ESPN.com. Now, sure a lot of you are wondering what .com stands for. Well, DOT is short for Dorothy, the Bambino's second daughter. And com, short for Comiskey Park, where Dorothy sat in seat 7H, and the Bambino hit a 2-run homer in the 3rd inning to win the first All-Star game back in '33. Hence .com.
Culligan Water Technologies, recently acquired company of U.S. Filter, taking over the sponsorship of this great game here in San Diego. Look at that sea of red. Both schools' predominant color worn by their fans here tonight. 9 plays on the last Nebraska drive. This one starts at the 17. Arizona 3, Nebraska nothing. First quarter. The quarterback Crouch. Brings a run for Eric Crouch to the 40-yard line. The option working wonders there. A pickup of 22.
You know, when you defend the option, it's all about assignments. You may be watching this play, and here's Marcus Bell. Watch as he takes on this play. His responsibility is the pitch man. You say, why does he run by the quarterback? That's not his man. Somebody else is responsible for the quarterback. Didn't get there. Marcus Bell, playing assignment football, went to the pitch. Nobody picked up Eric Crouch. He was able to turn it upfield and make a big play in the option for Nebraska. You can't get out of that sound fundamental. Somebody has to be responsible for the quarterback and the pitch man on every option play.
They fill up the backfield with 3 backs. Play clock is down to 2. Crouch gets it off. Makovic out blocking 4, but snuffed out by Kelvin Hunter. Made the tackle coming up from his corner spot. Well, tomorrow, a great triple header of bowl action starts with the AXA Equitable Liberty Bowl. Tulane tries to complete the perfect season against BYU. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, a great matchup in Atlanta. Georgia and Virginia. Then the Sanford Independence Bowl. Ole Miss takes on Texas Tech. A triple hitter as bowl week really hits its high note tomorrow on ESPN.
I think Eric Crouch tried to get a little too cute that time. He audible to a play that was really screwed up.
On 2nd and 10, he's in some trouble in the pocket and brought down by Daniel Greer, the top sack man of the Wildcats at 9 this year. Gets another one there.
I made the point that Nebraska has to throw the ball effectively to win this ball game tonight, but the key to that is Nebraska needs to throw when they want to throw, and that means off their play action when they're running the football well. When you get them in 2nd and long or 3rd and long and they have to go out of the shotgun, that's not really Nebraska's style in throwing the football. They've done more of it the last couple years, but their most effective passing game comes when it's off the play action, off their run game.
And don't forget, he calls the plays, Frank Goes, just like Tom Osborne did. 3rd and 12, screen that trying to set up for Buckhalter. Not a lot of room. And they lose yards. Deshaun Polk's going to be credited with the tackle, but it was the snuffing out by the defensive line that made the play. Nebraska goes 3 and out behind the freshman quarterback Prouton. So on comes Bill LaFleur. Academic first-team All-America and led the Big 12 with a Nebraska record of nearly 45 yards per punt. Got rushed and got it away. Then a short cut back to the 20. A 70-yard return of a 45-yard punt. Billy Legate on the tackle, and here's Jerry Punt.
Well, Mike, since 1958, we've all heard the catchphrase, "Hey, Culligan Man." Well, I'm certainly standing with the Culligan Man. It's a pleasure to introduce to you the chairman, CEO, and president of U.S. Filters, the parent company of Culligan, Mr. Dick Heckman. And Dick, what prompted your guys' involvement to become a title sponsor here at this bowl?
Well, we're a homegrown Southern California company. We love the San Diego area. We have hundreds of thousands of customers here, and we wanted to support this great city and give something back to the great fans.
Where do you see this involvement benefiting your company most?
Well, all of these players and their great fans around the world are water drinkers, and they're going to be water drinkers for a long time, and we want to connect with them.
Dick, you know, at the luncheon the other day, they gave a young lady a scholarship in this community. You walked up and promptly tripled her scholarship. I mean, what an effort, and congratulations on your involvement in intercollegiate athletics and what you're doing for the youth here in Southern California.
Well, we just are great believers in athletics and intercollegiate everything. I have 3 children in college, and so I know what it costs, and anything we can do to help deserving students, we're going to be there.
That is Mr. Dick Heckman, who is the chairman of the board for U.S. Filters, the parent company of Culligan, the title sponsor here. Mike?
Jerry, thank you. Their involvement welcomed by this great bowl, continuing its legacy. After the Julius Jackson sack that lost 5, it's Smith to the air on 2nd and 15. Up top for Brad Brennan! Brad Brennan! Brought down at about 14. Bingley made the saving tackle. A gain of 64.
They got Brennan matched up on strong safety Mike Brown. Mike Brown is the leading tackler on this team, but this is his weakness, covering man-to-man. He got fooled on the route, and a perfect throw by Keith Smith under duress because Chad Kelsey was coming to put a shot on Keith Smith. He hung in as long as he could and delivered a perfect throw to Brennan. Good matchup there for Arizona. Brennan against Mike Brown.
Well, the 100 relatives and friends from Redwood City, California, who came to cheer Brennan were the ones making the noise here. 1st and 10. Smith looking Brennan's way again. Incomplete. The coverage from Aaron Sweeney, I should say, on the corner. Well, Irwin, we said, would be tested. They've thrown his way a couple of times, and he's been ready.
The good thing for a defensive back, when you're down this close to the end zone, you don't have to defend depth. He was still kind of turned around there, and it looked like a little miscommunication between Smith and Brennan. But when you're down this close to the end zone, you know the guy can only run a pattern so deep, so you can afford to play a little tighter on any route.
All seals in motion. The second down handoff to Candidate, and Strum is pulled down by Lauren Kaiser, the sophomore out of Farwell, Nebraska. Unable to get Candidate going thus far.
Charlie McBride has to be thrilled with the way his inside down linemen are playing so far in the first half of this ball game. They're getting the good pressure upfield from the rush ends, but those guys inside are getting off blocks. They're working together. They're making plays. They're putting pressure on the quarterback. And that's something, that push inside is something Nebraska has lacked some this year.
Eastbond next to the quarterback, Smith. 3rd and 8. They bring 5. Smith finds his receiver, but Brandon Nash is short of the first down. Theo Craver in at the nickelback made the play, but field goal time again for the Wildcats. That's now 2 trips inside the 20 and 2 field goal attempts.
Good response by the Nebraska defense, too, Mike. They give up the big pass play to Brennan. They're able to kind of suck it up and make a couple good defensive plays and force Arizona to settle for a field goal attempt.
McDonald from 25 yards away. 2 for 2. They made 8 field goals in 12 games. He's connected on 2 in 1 quarter. Here at the Holiday Bowl, Arizona extends its lead on Nebraska to 6-0. Get ready for Friday. ABC Sports College Football starts with the CompUSA Florida Citrus Bowl from Orlando, Michigan against Arkansas. Then the BCS Bowls begin. The Rose Bowl presented by AT&T. UCLA against Wisconsin. Then the Nokia Sugar Bowl from the Superdome. Number 4 Ohio State. Number 6 Texas A&M. Saturday night in prime time, it's the Florida Gators against the Big East champion Syracuse Orangemen from Miami. And then Monday night, the national championship game, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, number 1 Tennessee, number 2 Florida State. Also, ABC's first ever enhanced TV production debuts during the broadcast. Get a sneak preview of that at ESPN.com. ABC Sports, your home for the Bowl Championship Series. Todd and John Saunders will be with you in the ABC studio throughout the next 4 days. I am envious. You guys will have fun.
My favorite time of the year, man, watching all these games. It's a great day, a couple days of football.
Another 4 kickoff. This one worked out okay. Kevin Wiggins by the sideline was trapped. Nowhere to go. Out at the 16.
You know, we talk about the Arizona defense and the whip linebacker, Deshaun Polk, and what he does that's different. Watch, he threatens this gap, and he's actually going to draw 2 blocks, and that's going to allow the other linebacker, Scooter Sprott, to get in there unblocked. Polk's really not going to rush the passer, but he just gets in that gap, ties up 2 guys, and allows Sprott to get in there and pressure Eric Crouch. When Deshaun Polk is in the game, you'll see him lined up in all different places. He's got a lot of responsibility. He's got to make a lot of calls for the defensive line.
And quarterback for Nebraska, Monty Cristo. The option deep by Cristo. Across the 25, a first down at the 30-yard line. Well, the senior from the western part of Nebraska, Harney, Nebraska. What a wonderful story he is. Monty Cristo now in the game for Nebraska.
Monty Cristo was actually the only quarterback that was healthy all of 1998. A guy who's been there, it seems like forever. But what a dependable guy to know you could go to your 3rd quarterback and still run the same kind of offensive package that you run with Bobby Newcomb, that you run with Eric Crouch. A valuable commodity to have a quarterback like Monty Cristo.
The only Nebraska player to play in the 94 title team. Pitches to D'Angelo Evans, a muffling down as you saw, as Evans touches the ball for the first time and busted it out to the 45 and across midfield, but a marker back for illegal motion by Nebraska.
Yeah, Joel Makovic is the guy that got caught moving a little early before the play. You see him pleading his case. It's going to negate that good run on the option by D'Angelo Evans.
First Nebraska penalty of the evening.
Here's Makovic
We have
right
illegal
here.
motion against the offense. Player moving in the backfield prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Probably saying, now, I may have lifted my hand up, but both my feet were in the same place. I was leaning that way, but I hadn't taken a step that way. Because D'Angelo's fast. I got to get out there in front of him.
Well, D'Angelo Evans in the backfield. Cristo lost it on the option. Picked up by Arizona's Scooter Sprott to the 15-yard line. Well, Nebraska has had 5 different combinations of I-back and quarterback, and when you have this much importance in the exchange, things like that happen.
Mike, I didn't run much option in my quarterback days, but I ran enough to know one golden rule was, when in doubt, don't pitch it out. And right now, Monty Cristo is kind of in a bind. He doesn't know whether to keep it or pitch. You're always better to keep the ball there. Mike Robertson came in and put the lick on him, but you could see a little bit of indecision in Monty Cristo. Didn't know whether to pitch or whether to keep, and it ends up being a huge turnover for Nebraska.
Sudden change situation for Arizona. Great drive start. Got to score a touchdown on this one. Candidates from the 8-yard line as the first quarter comes to an end. Mike Robertson forced that fumble. What a quarter of mistakes it was for Nebraska. The fumble that Robertson caused. And at the start of the quarter, you had Nebraska special teams errors. The missed catch on the punt that resulted in an Arizona recovery and a field goal, and then the blocked field goal. That's why the Wildcats lead the Culligan Holiday Bowl after 1 quarter.
The pure, cold shower from nature, bringing life to your home, to the world. Culligan is water, water for life. Culligan is water, water for life.
Culligan, proud sponsor of the Culligan Holiday Bowl.
Exhilarating performance and the ultimate in luxury, because we believe a great luxury car should do more than just take people where they want to go. It should bring them to their feet. The new RL from Acura.
You have meditated for 3 months.
Yes, Master.
And what have you learned?
One thing, Master.
Yes?
Nobody in the world sells more real estate than Remax.
Remax Associates average more experience and more sales than other real estate agents. So why in the world would you ever call anyone else?
You have done well, my son.
Thank you, Master.
Remax helped us find this place, you know.
Cool.
From the way companies process information to the way they share information. From the way they create ideas to the way they sell ideas. Secure old customers. Attract new customers. Use devices to extend their business. Leap ahead of someone else's business. At Sun, our technologies power the net for business. We're the dot in .com. What can we .com for you?
No matter what you drive, import or domestic, Pep Boys has your battery. Get any ProStart 75-month battery from $39.99. ProStart name brand quality battery starting at a low price of just $39.99. Pep Boys. Cars like us, people love us.
Whoa, very nice.
No, I was talking about the pizza.
Oh, delivered!
It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno, the frozen pizza that bakes it fresh, like pizzeria pizza.
I'll never know.
Mike Tirico, Todd Blackledge, Dr. Jerry Punch, the 21st edition of the Culligan Holiday Bowl. Arizona, 2 field goals, taking advantage of Nebraska mistakes for a 6-0 lead as we start the second period. And Arizona with a golden opportunity here.
This is one thing they've done well all season is create turnovers and then score points off of their opponent's mistakes. Right now, 130 to 42, they've outscored opponents off of miscues.
2nd and 4, they faked the candidate. And no place to throw, got knocked out of bounds, shy of the first down. 3 Huskers converged, and Eric Johnson may have taken the worst of that one. 27 still down for the Huskers.
Eric Johnson looks like he may have re-injured that shoulder on the tackle on the sideline. Very good coverage downfield by Nebraska. They didn't give up on the play because the fake really fooled Nebraska. Keith Smith had a lot of time to come all the way out here, but good coverage. Craver right there on Northcutt. And you see the end of the play. Now, Keith Smith is not a tall guy. He's only 5'11", but he's a stout. He's 205 pounds. And you can see right in there Eric Johnson leading with that shoulder. We mentioned he dislocated his shoulder in the final game against Colorado. May have re-dinged it right there.
He still came back in that game with the dislocated shoulder to come up with a 10-yard sack of Mike Machete, the Buffs quarterback. Nebraska winning their season finale 16-14 without an offensive touchdown 33 days ago. Nebraska's 3 losses this year: at Texas A&M by 7, at home to Ricky Williams in Texas by 4, and then the 10-point loss at Kansas State. 3 conference losses, and Johnson will not even come to the sideline. He'll head right to the locker room for examination.
Big play right here for Arizona too, Mike, because 3rd and 1, they've got a chance to get a first down and possibly get a touchdown. This is not something, you know, They've been able to run the football on everybody in the Pac-10, but this is a little different animal trying to run against Nebraska. A real attitude play right here can set the tone for their team on this 3rd and 1 play.
They go with 3 in the backfield. Paul Shields back there as well. Here is Ifan for the 1st down, and down at the 1-yard line. Julius Jackson, the replacement for Eric Johnson, saved the touchdown. And disagreement that is carried on through to the end zone after the play with one Arizona helmet sitting on the field, or a Nebraska helmet, I should say.
Well, we'll see what happened. Good job by the Nebraska defense of stringing this play out, but Ifan's still strong enough to break one tackle and get the necessary yardage for the 1st down, but it'll be interesting to see how they sort out this penalty. It appears Mike Rucker is the man without his helmet. I think he was tied up with tight end Mike Lucky on that play, and it actually ended up way back in the back of the end zone.
And I think they may be talking about a face mask penalty as the conversation goes on. And that was going on in the middle of the field as the play was down by the sideline. Then you have to establish if it was a dead ball foul, and was it on both teams.
Very important part of the game right here for Nebraska because, you know, they are not a comeback-oriented team. They're not a team that wants to have to throw the football. They want to throw when they want to. They get down 13-0 here. It puts a lot of pressure on Frank Solich as the play caller of trying to stay within their offensive system.
All right, key call here.
We have 2 dead ball fouls. We have a dead ball, personal foul against the defense. The penalty is half the distance to the goal and an automatic 1st down. We also have a dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct against the offense, 15-yard penalty from that spot. It will be 1st and 10.
1st and 10 from the 16-yard line because the half the distance on the dead ball gets it to the 1, and then you go backwards. And why walk them both off? I would guess they were not simultaneous fouls.
Yeah. And Nebraska wins that situation. You may say, well, it's a 15-yard penalty on both teams, but it moves it away from that Nebraska goal line all the way out to the 16-yard line. So a big win in that regard for Frank Solich in Nebraska.
Any snap from the 16 better than a snap from the 1.
Absolutely.
You Penn State guys are so smart. You know that? Well, Ifan nearly busted it in for another touchdown, but now they'll have to use the complete offensive package, and there's Smith starting this 1st and 10 out of the gun. Fires for Northcutt. Oh, he came back to get it, and Ralph Brown broke it up.
The ball was underthrown, Mike, because Mike Rucker got there quick. Now, Mike Rucker was the guy that was involved in a little altercation the play before, and he cranked it up that time and got to Keith Smith. And Keith Smith threw this ball a little bit early and a little underthrown. Watch the pressure. Doesn't get everything on this ball. It's underthrown. Northcutt tries to come back for it. Not able to come up with the catch. Good job by Ralph Brown late, getting a hand in there at the end of the play.
And you hear the
or
fans,
on the jersey.
Yeah, the fans wanted the flag as they saw the contact without him looking back at the ball. Rucker ready to tee off again on 2nd down. Try to run that way. Try to run a reverse. Northcutt and 16 yards to get back to the line. And he's pulled down. What a play by Chad Kelsey.
Great play by both rush ends. Rucker got up the field to force a bump in the exchange, and Kelsey was able to chase the play down and trip up the faster wide receiver on the reverse. Outstanding job by the Nebraska defense, showing their speed, running the play down. Take a look at this play now. Rucker gets inside right here, causes the confusion, and then Kelsey shows his speed, chasing down a wide receiver and tripping him up. Great job by both senior rush ends. Mike Rucker forcing the play, Chad Kelsey finishing.
Arizona runs for 200+ a game. Nebraska's stifling them. 3rd and long. Try to get in field goal range. Pass for Ifan is incomplete. So 3 times in the first 16 minutes plus, Arizona's been in the red zone. and they have not been able to get a touchdown out of it.
Nebraska kind of got away with one here because the rush came inside and Keith Smith was actually able to get outside, just couldn't get that little touch pass down for Kelvin Ifan. And remember, Ifan battling a little bit of an ankle problem. A little tough for him to make the tough catch in a situation like that.
Mark McDonald will attempt a career-long 48-yard field goal. On line, and good. Mark McDonald, 8 of 17 this year. 3 of 3 at the Big Q tonight. The Wildcats by 9.
Of passage. And if you can master your fear, outsmart your enemy, and never yield, even to yourself, you will be changed forever. The few, the proud, the Marines.
You waiting for a page?
Yeah. Hi, sweetie.
Yeah, me too.
Whoa, there she is. That's why I like 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls. I can call Sweetie back right now or anytime because it's one low rate all the time. A guaranteed cheap way to call collect. You mind giving me a hand, bro? 1-800-CALL-ATT. Hey, I like when you page me, sweetie.
It's a pure, cold shower from nature, bringing life to your home, to the world. Come and get water, water for life. Come and get water, water for life.
Culligan, proud sponsor of the Culligan Holiday Bowl.
And we welcome you back to San Diego here at Qualcomm Stadium. Quick update here from the Nebraska sidelines on junior weak side linebacker Eric Johnson. We mentioned he'd come in here in the Colorado game having had his left shoulder subluxed twice in that game, had limited action all week long. He has been taken to the locker room, I am being told. His left shoulder is completely dislocated. I would doubt we would see him back at all tonight. Mike?
No repeat of the guttiness that he showed against Colorado. McAllister, the All-America at corner, great special teamer, good in coverage as well, as the kickoff spins back to Chevin Wiggins. Up the middle goes Wiggins. Nebraska drive start at the 33, a return of 31. Well, Monte Cristo fumbled the last option at quarterback, getting his one series, and Eric Crouch, standing next to Frank Solich, will come in for this series. Remember, Crouch became the starter in the last month of the season, had 5 starts coming into tonight's game.
Actually, Eric Crouch made a rapid climb in the depth chart, was number 5 quarterback in spring practice, number 2 when the season started, and now he is the starting quarterback for the Cornhuskers.
Good thrower, looking long. Air one out. Jostling, no flag. Kevin Wiggins was knocked to the ground by Kelvin Hunter. Hunter's been tested a lot this year because the All-American McAllister's on the other side. You don't bother going after 11.
Yeah, they went after the right guy, trying to get the ball down the field to Wiggins. There was a lot of contact here. Boy, it looked like they could have called something there. Kelvin Hunter definitely got the best of that contact there, knocking Wiggins down. Good pass protection by Nebraska allowed Crouch to give that ball a shot. And again, Nebraska needs to make some plays throwing the football to beat this Arizona team.
There are any Miller readers where he's sitting for 2 minutes. Crouch option. Got a couple. Good pursuit by James Lewis. 94 in the game for Arizona. When we talk about Crouch getting the starts, and Bobby Newcomb was the number 1 quarterback coming into this season. An injury the very opening week never properly healed, and after trying it on a couple of different occasions through 6 games and 2 distinct separate stretches, he has been shelved for the season, had surgery in the intervening period after the regular season and before this bowl game tonight.
I asked Turner Gill, the quarterback coach at practice the other day, and Turner, by the way, was an outstanding quarterback in this offense, how much difference there was between Eric Crouch and Bobby Newton. He said very little. He said they're both very similar athletically, both great students of the game.
Third down, and it is caught on the sideline by Cheatham. Nope, incomplete. It was caught, but out of bounds. So it will be 4th down. And Nebraska fails to pick up a first down again.
Eric Crouch has a very live arm. He's got a very strong throwing arm. A little bit erratic right now. He only completed 48.5% of his passes on the season, but he has the potential to be a pretty good thrower.
LaFleur doesn't get off a great pick. Returnable for Northcutt. A reverse to McAllister. Got a great block. McAllister down the sideline. A flag is down. Touchback, touchdown. But a marker is down.
A perfect call and executed. It looked perfectly, but Derek Hall, number 36, is the guy they're going to get for the illegal block in the back. That was the block you mentioned. It looked like it was a clean block. This was really well executed and a perfect time to call it. Watch the exchange now from Northcutt to McAllister. And right here, there's the block. Is his head in front of the player or behind? Very, very close. Boy, oh boy.
You pointed out what the official's looking for. It's where the head is of the man throwing the block.
It looked like his head was in front and got him up around the shoulder. You see the speed of Chris McAllister, able to outrun the entire coverage unit down that sideline. I think Dick Tomey has a legit argument. That looked like a good block by Derek Hall. It was clearly not a block in the back.
Well, the drive instead of the touchdown starts from the 19, and Ortiz Jenkins is in at quarterback for Arizona. And Jenkins, who likes big plays, nearly gave Nebraska one. A poor throw. Clint Finley was the man who touched the ball on the way by. Jenkins is a sophomore. You see his season numbers, a much lower completion percentage than Smith. If you had to describe Ortiz Jenkins, that play that is in everyone's mind from the Washington game is him. He makes big plays, or tries to.
Yeah, and he's very dangerous scrambling. Keith Smith may actually be a little bit faster, but Ortiz is an outstanding guy making people miss, making plays running the football, and he's a much bigger, stronger guy than I ever expected him to be when I saw him close up.
From candidate runs to the 25. We talked about that big play ability of Jenkins. Who'll ever forget the play at the end of the game to beat Washington?
I didn't try to flip. The momentum of the hit really flipped me over. I was just trying to get over the two defenders. If you watch the tape closely, you can see the linebacker, I don't know his name, but 27, he kind of like paused as I was coming to the line of scrimmage. And you see the back view, he kind of like paused for a second. And I think that gave me an extra yard. You know, if I took off from the 5, I may not have made it, but I took off from the 4.
Marcus Harrison was number 27 for Washington. Now it's 3rd and 4, and Jenkins uses that running ability to pick up the first down across the 30-yard line. Make no mistake, if you look at these two guys, you'd say, well, Smith must be the thrower, Jenkins must be the runner. In fact, they're both good at both. Jenkins makes a nice move here.
Well, they caught him in the right defense. This was a zone blitz by Nebraska. The inside defensive lineman dropped out into coverage, and that was the hole that Jenkins needed there to make that first down. You also saw his strength. I mentioned 6'2", 214, and when I met him in the hotel, he is a big physical guy. Showed it there on that quarterback draw.
And you met him about 37 times this week.
Great kid.
1st and 10, play action. Throw it to Lucky. Mike Lucky, the tight end, to the 47-yard line. 16-yard pickup. Very similar to the play they ran the first play that Jenkins was in.
And you can't help but have a little too much adrenaline throwing on that first throw. This time he gears it down. Here's Lucky coming across on the bootleg. You sell the run fake, And this time he's right on target to his tight end. Gears it down a little bit, takes a little bit off the football. Gets his shoulders square to the target and makes a nice throw to his tight end, Lucky.
Lucky had 11 catches this year, an average of 13 per. With all the weapons, the tight end can make plays. Jenkins directing the be careful, he lost the ball, and Arizona finally gets it. Even Grace fell on it. I guess Jenkins had no idea there was somebody right next to him. Aaron Willis knocked it free. The use of Scott and Grace making sure that it's still Cat's ball.
We've seen both second quarterbacks who have come in drop the football on the ground. This time, Ortiz Jenkins was not aware of the pressure coming from the backside. And then it looked like nobody wanted the football. Stephen Grace ultimately coming up with it. But again, there you see from the backside the pressure from Wills. And Arizona very fortunate to come up with the football there.
Arizona has had a lot of negative plays tonight. Candidate. The ball strung out to the 40-yard line. He averages 7+ yards per carry. But is still struggling to get to the 30-yard mark, and it looks like he's hurt that right arm just a little bit. Kelvin Ifon takes his place. Ball is spotted on the 41 yard line. Candidate 8 carries for 23 yards. And Ifon, a good receiver, good blocker, good all-around back, is in there next to Jenkins. The black shirt brush foul. Jenkins tries to sideline and put out of bounds, looking for Brad Brennan. The ball intended for number 13, Brad Brennan. It will be 4th down, and the play in the pit between the Arizona offensive line and the Nebraska defensive line is getting a bit contentious. Number 21, Mike Brown.
Well, that's where this game is ultimately going to be won or lost. Even though Arizona has those weapons, they must establish themselves physically, and they wanted that. That was the challenge that they wanted. Their offensive line prides themselves on being physical, being able to run the football. So far, they're holding their own pretty well against the Cornhuskers.
Princeton is on to punt. Kevin Wiggins, one of the 3 deep men for the Huskers. Don't look to block on it. Look to block you on coverage. Careful, a lot of red pants in the area. Ball is finally down by Adrian Cox. 37-yard kick in Nebraska. Very stagnant on offense. Just 63 yards in the first 20 minutes. Will take over. Arizona leads 9-0.
Gina was a driving girl with geographic memory. Karen dumped her boyfriend Jim. Forget that slacker misery. Charlie works in cyberspace. \/ all day long. Pamela, she couldn't sing but kept the beat and kept it strong. The all-new Mazda Protege. A change from all your high-maintenance relationships.
At Pep Boys, get 4 of our 35,000-mile tires at a low $99. Or double your mileage with 4 70,000-mile, all-season steel-belted tires, just $169.
Pep Boys. Cars like us. People love us.
Into the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl on ESPN.
The suffocating Nittany Lion D looks to contain the golden arm of Tim Couch and the Wildcats. The Outback Bowl, Kentucky versus Penn State at 11, Friday on ESPN.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of Bowl Week and the 1998 Culligan Holiday Bowl is presented by Culligan. proud sponsor of the Culligan Holiday Bowl.
The view from above Qualcomm Stadium from the Goodyear Blimp Eagle, based in Carson, California. Goodyear recently increased its blimp fleet to 6, adding 2 airships in Europe and 1 in South America, of course, to go with the spirit of Akron in Ohio. And the Goodyear Blimp with us here tonight. Corn-fed. Huskers trailing 9-0. D'Angelo Evans with the carry, gained just a yard, had no room to run. Joe Tafoya and Marcus Bell with the hit. There's a flag at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they got one of the tight ends, the tight end on our side of the formation. I think it was P.J. DeBates. Left a little bit early on the snap count there. Back him up 5 yards.
Makovica with a word for the umpire. He's unhappy as well. Haven't seen much of the Nebraska offense that would make me say it looks good.
Right here now, here's the movement. Watch the tight end. A little bit early, ahead of the count. You know, I made the point earlier that this Nebraska offense...
The penalty is declined. Second down.
...is very sophisticated in what they do in their running game, and it's based on execution and timing. And when they've had to go through as many quarterbacks and I-backs as they've had this year, it really has hurt their continuity as an offense.
2nd and 10. Crouch with D'Angelo Evans. Got on the edge, but had nowhere to go because Greg Payne came up from the corner and shut him down. Jerry Punt.
Updating the weak side linebacker Eric Johnson over here on the Cornhusker sideline. I spoke with orthopedic surgeon Pat Clare, who said that basically Eric has completely dislocated that left shoulder. He is out for the day and will be scheduled for surgery in postseason. In fact, he was already scheduled for surgery anyway. A lot of courage for this young man to try to come out and play with a shoulder that was sort of sloppy anyway, but is now completely dislocated.
Julius Jackson will be in his place when Nebraska's on defense. 3rd and 8 on offense. The flag came down and the pass is incomplete. Intended for Kenny Cheatham. That's a back-to-back 3-and-out for the Huskers. Just don't look right. Can't get anything going. You watched their Kansas State game when they scored 30. They were moving, they looked good, but remember, their last game against Colorado, no offensive touchdowns either.
And I think, again, what's happened to them in this first half is that Arizona is dictating when Nebraska has to throw the football. Nebraska is not dictating when they want to throw the football.
LaFleur is getting some heat, and that forced a rush kick that got a Nebraska bounce and will be down at the 35. So another opportunity for Arizona coming up. 40-yard kick there. National Hockey Night on ESPN. The first one of 1999. January pucks for you as Chicago steps into the United Center against Detroit, the original 6, in a great Midwestern sports battle. Sunday night, 8 Eastern, National Hockey Night, right after NFL primetime on ESPN. What a great sport week with the NFL playoffs, the hockey, college hoop action from Hawaii later on, and of course, whole week continuing here tonight with the Culligan Holiday Bowl. Arizona drive starts from the 35 with Jenkins in a quarterback. Austin Strunk. Gains 4, 2 of 39. Strunk candidate really exploded onto the scene nationally with his Arizona State game. But that record-setting, school record-setting performance was the punctuation mark on a great final month of the season when candidate knocked it up a notch plus. 817 yards in his last 5 games.
Really made so many big plays. 10 touchdown runs. Average gain on his touchdown, 51.5 yards. Busted play here.
Jenkins and candidate miscommunicate. And Mike Brown up from the rover spot. The top tackler on the Huskers pulled down the quarterback for a loss of a couple.
The other thing that's hurting Nebraska right now with their ineffectiveness on offense is forcing the Nebraska defense to stay on the field a long time. Chad Kelsey still got that motor running high, does a great job chasing this play down, but you're starting to see maybe a little fatigue in the Nebraska defense. They need their offense to hold on to the football a little bit and give them some rest.
See if they can come up with another 3rd down stop. averages 2 of 8 on third down. Timeout. They need timeout. And they got it with 7 on the clock. You can hear the assistant coaches say, timeout, O.J. Ortiz comes to the sideline, and we step aside for a moment.
This simple-looking device is...
When we add on to our new building, we're going to have to expand our security system, our surveillance cameras, our fire alarm, telephone system, and paging system. I better get on the phone and call somebody to arrange all this.
Total Technical Solutions. Dwayne Ellis can take care of all of those systems for you. Total Technical Solutions can even advise you on whether your system will be large enough or advanced enough to handle current or future needs. Total Technical Solutions, your one total source for professional security and communication solutions.
When you're hungry for real country barbecue and your appetite just won't quit, Sonny's has all the sliced pork you can eat, slow cooking in our hardwood pit. We serve it fast and friendly with garlic bread, coleslaw, and french fries until you've had your fill and that appetite's satisfied. Sonny's all-you-can-eat sliced pork. Yummy.
Stuart, you shouldn't have. I didn't get you anything. All right, don't worry about it. How'd you know? Just, come on, put it on, right? All right. You knew my size and everything.
It looks good.
Thank you.
It
feels good. Thanks. Happy holidays. Happy holidays, man. Cool.
Yusuf Scott is the best offensive lineman for Arizona, but he and the rest of the offensive line have not been able to clear the path for Trunk Canada tonight because of good Nebraska defense. Thus, Todd, another third and longer than you'd like for the Arizona offense here.
Yeah, really good play tonight by the inside linemen of Nebraska. They're rotating some fresh bodies in there, and they're getting that push up the middle in this ball game.
4 receivers, quarterback draw, and the rush ends meet at the quarterback before he gets to the line of scrimmage. Kelsey and Rucker, Chad and Mike playing great.
You know, it's interesting. Mike Rucker was the preseason All-American, had a pelvic injury.
That ball may have come free. The officials haven't signaled yet. Nebraska thinks they have it, and they do. There was not a lot of bodies going back after the ball, so players were leaving the field for the punt unit, and it's a Nebraska fumble recovery.
You said it, both rush ends meeting at the quarterback. Chad Kelsey, a clean shot there. Rucker from the backside.
I see why we didn't see it come out. It was in the
they're
middle of the
celebrating
leg.
a sack. I mean, they're celebrating a good tackle. Nobody can see the ball. There it is out on the ground.
Clearly. And Lauren Kaiser gets his 3rd fumble recovery of the year.
And Kelsey has been cranked up the whole game, and Rucker, I think ever since that little incident down by the goal line, has cranked it up an extra notch.
And Nebraska responds. Buckhalter is stopped by Scooter Sprott and the Arizona defense. Remember, when you talk about Arizona's legacy of the Desert Swarm, they still play good run defense, and you're seeing some of it here tonight.
They do a great job running to the football, Mike. They're not a big defense. They're not as big as a lot of the people that they face, but they do a great job of getting to the football. You see Buckhalter has nowhere to go. Scooter Sprott right there, the good solid tackle. A lot of blue jerseys running to the football.
1 single digit. That's the Nebraska passing yard total. Crouch tries to change it. Throwing into coverage for the tight end Jackson, incomplete. Greg Payne in on the coverage again. Second time we've called him in 3 defensive plays.
Nebraska did a nice job picking up the blitz. They're trying to go to the tight end Jackson. He can't get away from Greg Payne. Good coverage by the strong safety Greg Payne. Just left a little window there for Eric Crouch to try to throw the football into. They thought they could maybe fool him with the play action, but good job by Greg Payne staying right on the coverage of the tight end Jackson.
This play came in from the sideline late. Delivered by Matt Davison.
They're going to have to get a timeout here, too, it looks like.
Sometimes you blame it on the quarterback and the players. That one belongs to the sideline. That play didn't come in until there were 18 seconds on the play clock. A timeout here. Nebraska can't let this opportunity slip away without points.
The pure, cold shower from nature, bringing life to your home, to the world. Culligan is water, water for life. Culligan is water, water for life.
Culligan, proud sponsor of the Culligan Holiday Bowl.
Article that says they think about it every 8 seconds. I wouldn't doubt it. It seems like the only thing Dave ever wanted. They have one-track minds. It must be something biological or genetic. Men, they're all the same.
Hey. You read my mind.
Mascot. The Culligan Holiday Bowl, Arizona 9, Nebraska nothing. The Arizona offense has been frustrated in its 35 plays. The Nebraska offense has been stuck in gear. Look at that. 1 passing yard for Nebraska, 2 rushing yards for Arizona. Not totally unexpected, but we didn't think those numbers would be that low. They need to get to the 24 for a first down. Routes to the air. Got it with Davison. Matt Davison to the 11-yard line. McAllister pushed him out. 22 yards. Boy, did they need that.
They got into more of a run formation. Good pass protection, allowed Crouch to look down the field. Davison was crossing underneath. The tight end Sheldon Jackson was crossing tighter, and a nice throw and catch, and something hopefully for Nebraska will give Eric Crouch a little confidence now throwing the football.
Davison's big national moment was the deflection, the great reception against Missouri. His only career touchdown. Crouch looking at the end zone, deflected from behind and nearly intercepted by Scooter Sprott. That was Daniel Greer, who's already had a sack in this first half, putting the heat on the freshman quarterback.
This is one where you're slipping your fullback out. You want to get him the football quickly. Play action on first down. They fake the counter. Now, right now, get him the football. Good inside rush by Daniel Greer, one of those seniors that has played so well for Dick Tomey's team this year. Got in there and knocked that pass up in the air. Couldn't get it to Joel McAvick. A good rush on the inside by Daniel Greer.
McAllister was right there to break it up like he did 15 different times this year.
You know what? I'm going to tell you now, this is a little bit like what happens in the NFL. Everybody knows how good of a player Chris McAllister is. And even if he's going to get there a little bit early, he may get the benefit of the doubt. He was there. He's got long arms. He's 6'2". He was able to get in there on the football, but a player that good is going to get a little more respect from officials, and there was no penalty called. Good play by Chris McAllister.
NFL player will be next year. Likely first-round draft pick. 6'1", 206. Great cover ability, good speed. 3rd and goal. They go option. Buckhalter. Greg Payne has played a very solid second quarter. Another hit. Field goal unit coming on. Hit. Goal.
Good sound defense defense by Arizona, running to the football. Buckhalter.
Aggressive and with attitude. This is an attitude test for Arizona here tonight. Do they belong with the big boys in college football? And they're answering that here. Chris Brown from 24 yards. Nebraska's all-time leading point scorer sneaks one in. So Arizona gives up points for the first time, but keeps it just at 3. All the points have been scored by special teams, and to be very honest, if you haven't been with us for the first hour and a half of our game, special teams has been the overriding theme tonight.
Yeah, and very rarely do you see Nebraska get outplayed by anybody on special teams. That's normally one of their real strengths. Here, the fumble, then the blocked field goal by the third-string quarterback, and then the play that could have really broke Nebraska's back, the touchdown that was called back because of the block by Derek Hall. Arizona outplaying Nebraska on special teams right now, and that's something you don't see. Nebraska has always been outstanding on special teams. Of course, they're missing one of their best special teams player in Joe Walker. Injured his knee December 12th. Was a guy who really gave them some big plays as a return guy, also the leading interceptor on their defense. They have sorely missed him in this ballgame tonight.
Chris McAllister and Joe Walker on the same day this year entered the NCAA record book as men to take back a kickoff, punt, and interception for touchdown in the same season. It's been done 5 times before in the history of the sport. There is the big play man, McAllister. Taken down at the 20, Nebraska did a very nice job in kickoff coverage there. Well, right after SportsCenter tonight in college basketball, Princeton, which slowed it down and beat Texas last night, tries to inflict their style on UNC Charlotte. We've already seen the 49ers play a tight one with North Carolina and take the Tar Heels to overtime. The Rainbow Classic title game comes your way from Honolulu right after SportsCenter at 12:30 a.m. Eastern tonight. Chris Lee and Kirk coming up at halftime from Tempe. Here it's Arizona 9, Nebraska 3. Third drive for Ortiz, Jenkins at quarterback, and again, no room for Trump candidate with a penalty marker down. Crouch and the offense. Ineffective against the Arizona defense. And Arizona with its 4th penalty of the night.
We have an illegal formation against the offense. Not enough man on the line of scrimmage. Penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
Trump candidate had some huge creases to run through in his last game out against Arizona State, 288 yards. Tells his offensive lineman he just needs 14 inches or so in there, and he'll do the rest. He's not getting anywhere near that tonight. Nebraska doing a nice job inside, closing up those gaps.
At 27 on 9 carries. Paul Shields in motion and in the pass pattern. Jenkins up top. The coverage by Nebraska all the way around.
I started to tell you earlier about Mike Rucker. He started the season as a preseason All-American. He started the year with a pelvic injury. He was not 100%. He was the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week against Colorado. His last game, he's playing well tonight. This is the healthiest he's been all season. And Rucker and Kelsey really doing a good job coming off the edge tonight against both Arizona quarterbacks.
Rucker and Kelsey split time last year at rush end when Grant Wistrom was playing the right side in All-America fashion. Now, both Kelsey and Rucker, 57 and 84, are starters for the Huskers.
There he is again.
And he brings Jenkins down again. What a job Nebraska's defensive line is doing on the field far more often than the Arizona defense.
And, Mike, I really believe, going back to that play where there was the personal foul penalty on Mike Rucker, he has just really turned it up a notch, is way too much right now for Mulatalo on the left side. And Jenkins very lucky that he didn't fumble the ball that time with the pressure coming from the backside.
You see the jump he got off the line of scrimmage? He was already across the line before the tight end, Nanu Malaeuna, who knew when the snap was coming, had even moved. 3rd and 24. They have to get to the 30 for a first down. Inside candidate. Run where Rooker comes from, and he's run down from behind by Jay Foreman. Another Arizona punt coming. On the tackle, number 44, Jay Foreman. On the 60s, when Nebraska's offense was getting a lot of credit, Bob Devaney said, we need to do something for the defense. So he created the concept of the black shirt. You become a starting defender at Nebraska, you wear a black shirt in practice, and that is a source of pride in the state for young defensive players who aspire to be Cornhusker defensive linemen. The black shirts are living up to the reputation tonight. Springsteen's a kick. Should be good Nebraska field position. Sean Wiggins back to Nebraska. Short kick. Very good bounce, but Nebraska will take over in Wildcat territory at the 49. Nebraska brings D'Angelo Evans on the field in the I-back spot, and Todd, when he has been healthy, which has not been often, he has shown the breakaway ability that Nebraska just doesn't have at I-back this year.
Yeah, they just haven't been able to generate many big plays. Only 13 rushing plays this season, over 25 yards. Part of that reason, D'Angelo Evans only able to play in 3 ball games.
They established the fullback for you, and here's Jerry Punt on the sideline.
You guys mentioned D'Angelo Evans. They wanted to try to two-platoon him a little bit tonight because he really hasn't played in a game since October the 3rd when he was injured against Oklahoma State. His injury was a bruised tailbone. That may not sound like much, but so many major muscles attached to the very end of your spine, the tip of the coccyx it's called, and that bruised tailbone made it very, very uncomfortable for him to run the football. He is playing tonight, but I'm not sure he's still 100% yet.
Jerry said he felt as good as ever.
Yeah.
And this is a man who hasn't played in 11 weeks. Browse. He got one. There it is with Wiggins. Sherman Wiggins. Touchdown, Nebraska. Run, run, run. Big punch. A 45-yard touchdown pass to Wiggins, who caught one this year. The senior playing his final game as a Cornhusker with a big touchdown grab, and now Brown for the extra point to take the lead. In the history of college football, nobody's attempted more or made more extra points than Chris Brown, and that one puts Nebraska on top here in the Culligan Holiday Bowl.
This formation suggests option for Nebraska. Here's Wiggins right here, but instead of running the option, they're going to fake it and slip Wiggins right through the middle of the defense. Watch, they fake the option, but Wiggins runs by Scooter Sprott, and a perfect throw by Eric Crouch. Great call at that time, faking the option and then slipping Wiggins into the secondary. Nice job by Eric Crouch selling the run. And Wiggins getting on a linebacker. That's a mismatch that favors Nebraska. You don't want to try to attack their strength. Chris McAllister, the strength of this defense. Matt Davison not even really involved in the play. He's just a decoy to keep McAllister away from where they're trying to throw the football. And Nebraska has a touchdown and the lead in the ball game.
It gets frustrating when you're one of the best cornerbacks in the country and nothing's coming your way. Wiggins, who has 3 career touchdowns in his Nebraska history until that one. Husker lead. Dennis Northcutt for the kickoff. Nebraska's got it! Billy Legate, who was not back there for the kickoff. McAllister wasn't back. It was Northcutt.
Great hit by Billy Legate, a former walk-on, a guy who played 8-man football. Great job busting the wedge and making the hit. Now, we've seen the wedge get busted every kickoff by Nebraska, but that time, the big hit by Legate at the end of the play knocks the ball loose. A huge turnover for Nebraska. You got to be a special cat now to go down and break a wedge, to bust up a wedge on kickoff coverage. And Billy Legate, I mean, he's got the goatee, he just got that look of a wedge buster out of Clearwater, Nebraska. A great hit by the senior fullback.
Arizona has taken timeout while we have a moment. Here's Chris Fowler. Chris.
Well, Coach Tirico at halftime from here in Tempe. We'll hear from the Volunteers and the Seminoles. Tennessee not the least bit bothered about being an underdog for the fourth time. A breakdown of the 3 New Year's Eve bowl games and also news from the NFL regarding Drew Bledsoe as Lee and Kirk join me at the break.
All right, Chris, we will see you then. What a week this is in the history of football for the state of Arizona. The Wildcats, this big game tonight, trying to finish with their highest ever ranking. The Cardinals with their first Arizona NFL playoff game on Saturday on ABC. And, of course, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl on Monday night.
Watch Sheldon Jackson here. They may try to go play action again.
Late change by Kraft. By Marcus Bell, the top tackler out of St. John's, Arizona, a local legend in that small community in the state.
Great job by Marcus Bell taking the proper angle on this play. When we talked to their coaches, that was one of the things they said. He does a great job of taking the right angles as he pursues the football. He's got the pitch man, a perfect angle to the ball. The fullback, Makovicka, not able to get there to get the block because Marcus Bell took the direct path to the play.
Second and goal. Quarterback draw. Snuffed out by Scooter Stroud. Man who was tardy in coverage last time on the touchdown. Slows down Crouch here. It's 3rd and goal with 53 seconds left.
Well, you love to see this by Arizona, this sudden change situation for their defense, the big turnover, a chance to give up even more points right before halftime. And they have come up with 2 consecutive plays defensively to put Nebraska in a tough situation now on 3rd down.
Their All-America may be in the back of McAllister, and there's no Brewski and Waltrip up front, but these defensive linemen can make plays. Screen. Number 6, Cheatham with his thigh wrap. 17 seconds left. They'll let it run down. Call timeout before, I would guess, a field goal attempt. I don't see anybody by an official. Be very careful here, Nebraska. And finally, Nebraska stops the clock with 1 second left. Oops. Field goal coming at the end of the half. Right after this.
The University of Nebraska ranks #1 in the nation for graduating academic All-Americans in football, women's volleyball, in fact, all sports put together. And our honors program attracts some of the country's highest-scoring freshmen in fields like physics, computer science, biology, chemistry, and math. So you have an interesting known value for N. There is no place like Nebraska.
It's really fun, I think, when a student comes in. I got something really exciting. Can I tell you about it?
But here there seemed to be an openness, a daring, challenging nature to the students, both graduate and undergraduates, not afraid.
What gives me a great sense of pride is that I look back over my resume and I see these published articles and abstracts and maps and what's on them, you know, the names of my students.
The University of Arizona, education for a lifetime of discovery.
Call the timeout to try to further ice the kicker, Chris Brown, with 1 second left before halftime.
It had to be a kind of a nervous moment there for Frank Solich. You know, they wanted to not leave any time, obviously, for Arizona to run any plays when they got the ball back. Normally, the rule of thumb there is you call that timeout with about 4 seconds left. You don't ever let it go down to 1 second. Eric Crouch makes things a little interesting there for Frank Solich. Actually, Matt Davison, the guy, came off the sidelines to call the timeout, and give Chris Brown this chance.
Standing by for Chris Lee and Kirk, the new Dodge. Halftime report is coming up from Tempe. The news on Drew Bledsoe and the story in the Pac-10 with the coaching change at Washington. Plus the guys with the latest on the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Here is Brown. His field goal attempt is good from 23 yards out to end the first half. It was all special team mistakes by the Huskers, and Arizona with the good field position until the end of the half. Then that flipped around, and that's why at the half, Nebraska leads Arizona 13-9. Now to Tempe and Chris Fowler.
Well, Mike, thank you. This can't be a Holiday Bowl, not with 5 field goals and just 1 touchdown, but it is Nebraska's first offensive touchdown in the last 6 quarters. And if you're Dick Tomey, you're a little bit sick about all those opportunities and only the field goals, and now you're down 4 at the break.
But one thing he's happy about, that Arizona stop right there, forcing Nebraska field goal after recovery, keeps them in the ball game. It also gives Dick something positive to talk about going in there. They're still in the game, but I tell you what, Nebraska got a touchdown there. It'd have been into the tubes.
Yeah, we talked about it in the pregame about Nebraska having a point to make in this football game. I think in the second half, it's very important for Arizona's offense to get the ball thrown downfield, try to take advantage of some of the matchups with the Nebraska cornerbacks. And how about Nebraska's offensive line? Still a little bit suspect, and you saw that offensive line and the running game.
Hey, Train, D'Angelo Evans back?
Yeah, not yet. Not yet.
He says he's as good as Ricky Williams when he's healthy. He says he's healthy. Yeah, I don't know. He's going to wait for that big impact. We'll talk some more college football at halftime, but ESPN News coming your way right after this break. It is the Cornhuskers over the Wildcats by 4 in San Diego. More from Tempe coming up later.
Interstate batteries. Today I'm racing the family cruiser with my family. Joe and Norm are catching a few rays, and looky there, my wife's getting a full makeover.
Interstate, the official battery of the family car.
Flip.
If you could accompany your data on this trip overseas, the experience would be alarming. Local carriers handing it to national carriers, over to cable carriers, until you don't know who has your data. Unless you send it through here with the one and only company that owns the entire network.
So far in that first half, you take a look now, the way they like to play defense ideally is to have those rush ends, Rucker and Kelsey, get up the field quick and pressure the outside, and then the inside 5 guys, those 2 down linemen and the linebackers, close the gaps and have to get off blocks and make plays, and that's exactly what happened in the first half. Trung Cannon had nowhere to go with the football. He tried to bounce it outside, good work on the inside. The rushers come up the field, the tackles and the linebackers close down all the holes inside. A dominating first half of play by the Nebraska defense. 9 plays for negative yardage the Nebraska defense registered in that first half.
We talked about how Nebraska needed to create big plays and prevent big plays from happening. The negative plays became the story for the Cornhuskers through the first 30 minutes. Well, there is one of the Nebraska defenders who they are without tonight, as Eric Johnson dislocated his left shoulder in that first half on a tackle inside the 10-yard line as quarterback Keith Smith was rolling out. Arizona has a lot of weapons. Tonight, they have been shut down. We'll talk about the 2 quarterbacks later, but Trung candidate, you see his per carry average. Longest run tonight for Trung, 6 yards. Kelvin Efon, an ankle injury coming in. The ankle injury suffered this week. Only 1 carry, got it down to the 1-yard line. Northcutt has been held in check and had a key fumble on a kickoff return, and Jeremy McDaniel is out of the game because of injury. And the reason that Northcutt had to take that kickoff return also involves a significant injury for Arizona, and Jerry will get us those updates momentarily.
You know, one of the real questions now is who Dick Tomey goes with at quarterback. Normally the rule is play them each in the first half and then go with the guy who had the hot hand. Neither guy a hot hand in that first half for Arizona.
Kevin Williams takes the second half kickoff and takes it over the 25-yard line. The tackle by Adrian Cox. All right, Jerry, what's going on down on that Arizona sideline?
Well, it was a hot time in the Wildcat locker room at halftime. I'll talk about that in just a moment. Let me mention some of the players are going to be without in the second half. Jeremy McDaniel, their noted wide receiver, out with a hip pointer. And the big concern was Chris McAllister, their All-American defensive back. He actually came to the sidelines, was vomiting. As they were headed to the locker room at halftime, he had asked out of that kickoff return, the one that Northcutt fumbled. They're hoping he can play for most of the second half.
On first down, no gain on the stop. Makovica is put down defensively by the Wildcats. Eli Winnick helping make the tackle. Joel Makovica, who not only is a first-team academic All-America, but also rewarded at the College Football Hall of Fame induction ceremonies when Tom Osborne was inducted earlier this month. The National Football Foundation awarding him a postgraduate scholarship, $18,000. Pre-med student. He tried the NFL first and then the medical profession. Cuts to the air. Good protection. Complete to Davison. Davison nearly broke it. Got out to the 49-yard line. A good thing Marcus Bell tripped him up to keep the gain at 23.
Well, it all starts with pass protection. Outstanding pass protection by Nebraska. It's definitely a passing down, second and long. Look at the time Crouch has to overlook the whole play. No pressure on him. He's able to deliver the strike. And you see the strength of Crouch's arm. He has a very good arm. The coaches feel he may end up being the best throwing quarterback they've ever had in Lincoln.
This was the formation they hit the touchdown for earlier. They run out of it this time with Buckhalter, and Correll is stopped at the 46. Offenses were slowed down for the most part in the first half. Here were the numbers before the 30-minute halftime festivities here at Qualcomm Stadium. Arizona rushing yards, netting -1 because of the sack yardage involved. Each team gave it up twice in the first half.
You got to say that both defenses played extremely well. That's a tough number on the rush yards for Arizona because they take so much pride in being physical and being able to establish their run. We're not able to do it in that first half.
And they said this is a statement game about how physical they can be. Apke in motion. Buckhalter on the toss. Scooter Sprott lost his helmet as he made the play along with Greg Payne. Been a significant factor in the second and third quarters.
I think Arizona has established their physical presence with their defense. I think their defense has withstood this big athletic offensive line of Nebraska. They've held their own. They've been able to move around and make plays and use their speed and athleticism to shut down the option. They've been able to hold up to the physical challenge with their defensive unit, no question.
Third and a couple now, Todd, as Nebraska sends 3 out of the backfield. Makovica, second effort, I think will be a half-yard short of the first down. Deshaun Polk made the hit. Fourth down at their 42.
Not a big unit on defense for Arizona, but they're very quick and they play extremely hard. They do a nice job getting to the football there and a good solid tackle on Joel Makovica. They use their quickness and their ability to get to the football to make plays.
Bill LaFleur is the punter who has come on. 17 of his 52 punts this year were buried inside the 20. Was not in that position in the first half. Nobody was back deep for Arizona. Nebraska covering, and they got it at the 2. Dominic Raiola, who is the deep snapper, was the first man down there. The freshman out of Hawaii pins Arizona in the shadows of the goalpost.
Time is running out on Buick Swingin' to 99. And for a short time only, we've got numbers that'll make your head spin. Low 0.99 APR financing on every 99 Buick for an average finance savings of up to $4,200. And a new twist, no monthly payments for 99 days. But these numbers won't be around much longer, so better jump now. Swing into your Buick dealer today.
It knows 2 speeds. Stop.
go. It just beat a series of the toughest stop-and-go driving tests in the world, and it's brand new. Go ahead. Guess. You have 4.3 seconds. Introducing Pennzoil with new Pure Base. Stop. Go. Pennzoil.
Pure cold shower from nature, bringing life to your home, to the world. Collagen is water, water for life. Collagen is water, water for life.
Culligan, proud sponsor of the Culligan Holiday Bowl.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of Bowl Week and the 1998 Culligan Holiday Bowl is presented by Culligan, proud sponsor of the Culligan Holiday Bowl, and in part by Buick and your local Buick dealers. Isn't it time for a real car?
This is the 14th straight bowl that Nebraska's playing a top 10 team. 13 of the last 14 bowls, they've played a top 5 opponent. Only Virginia Tech in the Orange Bowl a couple of years ago was number 10. Arizona comes in ranked 5th by the media, 6th in the ESPN USA Today coaches poll. Keith Smith is the starting quarterback for this half from the 2. Looking up top for Northcutt. And he came down with it. He pulled it away from the freshman Keo Craver and told him about it. After picking up 26.
This was a good play by everybody. This was a good throw by Keith Smith, a great catch by Northcutt, and good coverage by Craver. Craver is right on the hip and gets in there, gets a hand, but Northcutt just does a great job of wanting the ball more than the defensive back Craver. They both had a shot at it. Northcutt came down with the football.
Some space for Arizona. Try to get Trung going. The little creases are not there for candidate. Tony Ortiz leads the pursuit. While the quarterbacks split time pretty much by quarter in the first half. And let's look at how Smith and Jenkins did statistically over the first 30 minutes.
Well, neither guy did too much. You see, Smith threw for 111 yards. One of those, a bunch of that came on one play, the big 63-yard pass to Brennan. Neither one effective running the quarterback draw. They tried 7 quarterback draws in the first half, gained -4 yards, so that play was taken away from them in the first half.
Shields in motion. Up top, Northcutt got a step on Craver, and it's incomplete. If the ball would have been thrown a little bit earlier, the opening would have led to a completion. Here again, Jerry Punch.
Well, at halftime, Arizona head coach Dick Tomey really challenged his football team, particularly his offensive line. It's the first time we've been behind at halftime all year long, guys. We have got to come off the football. We have got to cut the backside pursuit so Canada has a lane to cut back in from behind. And they want to try to get, Dino Babers wants to try to get the H-back Paul Shields and the tight end Mike Lucky more involved in the offense, trying to get the game going a little bit in the second half. And a huge challenge up front by Dick Tomey for his offensive line.
See if they give Smith time on 3rd and 9, Jerry. Looking that way and finds Kelvin Ifan, who has no room. Julius Jackson in for the injured Eric Johnson, said, bring on the punt team.
You know, the thing that Jerry brings up about the challenge to the offensive line, they knew this was a great defense they were facing in Nebraska tonight. The interesting thing, they were the 7th best defense statistically in the Big 12, but their numbers would have made them the best defense in the Pac-10. Just because their numbers are down a little bit doesn't mean these guys haven't played good defense all year, and they're playing great defense tonight.
Ryan Springston now on to punt. Kevin Wiggins, the deepest of the 3. Immediately after catching it at the 43, it is Marcus Bell, the starting linebacker, in on coverage. One game tonight, Bowl Week, with a triple dip for you tomorrow, starting with the AXA Equitable Liberty Bowl. Tulane tries to complete the perfect season against Brigham Young. Then the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Georgia takes on Virginia. And the Sanford Independence Bowl, Ole Miss and Texas Tech. 3 3 of the top 20 as Bowl Week continues tomorrow on ESPN. Of course, the Outback Bowl on New Year's Day. ABC with the Bowl Championship Series. Only 2 places to be this week, ABC and ESPN. D'Angelo Evans is the I-back. Crouch, the quarterback, gets it near midfield. He's hit by Rafael Jones. You know, Eric Crouch in his quarterback position came into a difficult situation. As you said in the first half, he was number 5 in the quarterback spot coming in spring ball. We got spoiled watching Nebraska football with Tommy Frazier, Scott Frost, the late Brooke Behringer as well, who was able to come in and do some great things.
Yeah, and guys have played for a long time. You know, Frazier played for 4 years other than the period when he was hurt. Scott Frost played for 2 years. I mean, this year they've had to kind of pick and choose with 3 different guys, and they're all young guys other than Monty Frisco.
The freshman keeps it on 2nd and 5 and makes a very good decision as Deshaun Polk was right there with Scooter Sprott to make the tackle.
We haven't called Polk's name too much in the ball game tonight. Made a couple plays earlier. He's that whip linebacker, and he lines up in a lot of positions, and he actually makes a lot of calls for the front line on this defense. This defense kind of plays as 2 independent units. The free safety kind of makes the calls for the secondary. Deshaun Polk makes all the calls for the front people and the linebackers. A lot of responsibility on him as a whip linebacker.
See what Solich called on 3rd and 6. Crouch is hit by Sprott as he threw it. Incomplete. Sheldon Jackson was double covered. Nothing was open. Just get rid of it. And a second 3 and out from the Arizona defense.
Good pressure, good linebacker pressure. Scooter Sprott with the hit. And Chris McAllister working on Davison, and you're not gonna get much space out there working against Chris McAllister. He's a big physical corner, 205 pounds, one of the very best in the country.
Crouch to the sideline, Bill LaFleur to punt. Look out! They got a piece of it! A high snap, they've been getting a good rush. Brandon Nash got a piece of it, and it will be Arizona ball at their own 40. Special teams. What a huge factor they've been tonight. That punt goes just 12 yards. LaFleur had 2 blocks against Iowa State this year. Raiola's snap was a hair high, and the opportunity was presented for the block. Good field position for the Wildcats. They'll start the drive from their own 40 when we come back at the Culligan Holiday Bowl.
Time is running out on Buick Swingin' the 99. And for a short time only, we've got numbers that'll make your head spin. Low 0.99 APR financing on every 99 Buick for an average finance savings of up to $4,200. And the new twist, no monthly payments for 99 days. But these numbers won't be around much longer. So better jump now. Swing into your Buick dealer today.
Whoa, very nice. No, I was talking about the pizza.
It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno, the frozen pizza that bakes up fresh, like pizzeria pizza.
I'll never know.
To prove the power of interstate batteries, today I'm racing the family cruiser with my family. Joe and Norm are catching a few rays, and looky there, my wife's getting a full makeover.
Interstate, the official battery of the family car.
Flip.
It is one of the most powerful warships, with satellite communications, radar and propulsion systems that are the most advanced in the world. But USS Mitchell cannot do a single thing without you. Because the most important part of USS Mitchell is her crew of over 250 sailors who every day embark on a journey of honor, of courage, and of commitment. Call 1-800-USA-NAVY. Let the journey begin.
A whole new era in college football begins. The Bowl Championship Series. Coming January 1st, only on ABC.
13-9 Nebraska, but again, a big play by Arizona in the special teams. Watch the pressure. They're going to overload this side of the formation and get 3-on-2, and Brandon Nash is going to slip in there. Does a good job of maintaining his balance and getting a piece of the football. I've made the point earlier, Mike, very rarely do you see a Nebraska team get outplayed in special teams. That's always been one of their trademarks. tonight, Arizona clearly has the upper hand in special teams.
And the Arizona staff is Bob Wagner, the former head coach at Hawaii, and he has added a little bit to the special teams that the Wildcats performed, and they've been very good this year. Smith, no room, down. Jason Wilkes, who had just 1 sack this year, got in there to make the sack. Pressure by Kelsey as well.
That one looked like a jailbreak on the right side of the line when Keith Smith came out of his fake. Nowhere to go with the football. They tried to go play action. Wilkes was there. Julius Jackson was there. Kelsey was there. A very strong rush from the right side of that Nebraska defense.
The man who made the sack of Smith, Wilkes, spent a couple of years backing up Jason Peter. He has 2 interceptions, too, and Nebraska is playing a little bit more zone blitz. Gotten away from that here tonight. They've been great on defense. Misfire. Incomplete. Northcutt jostling with Erwin Sweeney. Said they test him. Keep going after him.
Sweeney held up that time. That was very good position by Sweeney. He was right with him on the post. He knew he had inside help from his free safety. But watch Erwin Sweeney, right in good position on the hip, makes a play to the ball, and he's got Finley coming over the top to help inside. Can't play it any better than that by Erwin Sweeney.
If you saw the Nebraska-Texas game, Sweeney got beat. He lost some confidence. It's come back in the ensuing couple of months. First down, awaits across the field. Smith doesn't even get back to the line of scrimmage. Rucker again. Michael has been terrific here tonight. Final game with a Nebraska N on his helmet.
Mike Rucker did a great job on this play, and so did Julius Jackson, the backup outside linebacker, because they were going to try to get the ball to Kelvin Ephon, and Julius Jackson did a great job of going out with the back and taking that option away from Keith Smith.
Ryan Springsteen did a lot of 37-yard punch tonight. 36, 6-yard return for Deion Booker, one of the 3, or rather Lance Brown, excuse me, the wingback, one of the 3 safeties back there. That punt was 35, returned just 6 yards. Nebraska ball, a lot of 3 and outs in this third quarter.
Jeff Foxworthy is back.
If she ain't happy, you ain't happy. And if she ain't happy long enough, you're going to be unhappy with half your stuff. Sophisticated people have retirement plans. Rednecks play the lottery. Well, ladies, tonight I will tell you what we're really thinking. We are really thinking, I'd like a beer and I'd like to see something naked.
Totally Committed, the new album from Jeff Foxworthy. Get it at stores or by phone.
These guys have made a name for themselves by custom building their computers and shipping them to you in about a week. These are the brands you really want. PC Connection custom configures your brands and gets them to you overnight. Think about that. One of these on your desk the way you want it before lunch tomorrow. Order now at PCConnection.com or dial 1-888 your way. Your brands, your way, next day. PC Connection.
8 top teams arrive, but only one will survive this title game in Hawaii. The Rainbow Classic Championship. Tonight at 12:30 a.m. Only on ESPN.
The thing I like about college football is they hang those inspirational signs above their door in their locker room. So I called up my buddy in Michigan, and he set us up with one. The guys seemed pretty receptive to it.
Ortiz Jenkins and some discomfort there on the Arizona sideline. They might just be getting some equipment repair. Third quarter, Arizona trailing by 4. The Wildcats kept without a touchdown here. Remember, they scored 50 in their last game against Arizona State. They've been held very much in check, completely stymied by the black shirt defense of Nebraska.
I still think Sheldon Jackson, the tight end, has to become a weapon in this ballgame for Nebraska.
D'Angelo Evans is the I-back. Crouch on the option gets across the 40 to the 41. Jerry Punt
At halftime, spoke with Cornhusker head coach Frank Solvich about his offense, about what they would need to do in the second half to try to get on track. Said, you know, this Arizona defense flows so well that basically shutting down our option attack, so we're going to look and see what we can do running the ball on the inside in the second half and let Eric be able to sell the play action and throw the ball downfield. How many Nebraska coaches do you hear commenting about trying to put a game plan in where you throw the ball effectively in the second half, but inside running, and just moments ago he was talking about maybe putting the ball up a little more here late in the third quarter and early fourth.
Jerry, just like we talked about, we thought Nebraska would have to throw with some effectiveness to win this ball game, and the best way they throw is play action.
And there it is for Sheldon Jackson, incomplete. Are you guys into Solich's headset or what? Good job, Doc, in the leg.
And he's just too good of an athlete. He's too big and too fast to not be a big part of their offensive plan. They've tried to get them the ball a couple times, and Eric Crouch has misfired a couple times. They had what they wanted. He actually had a half a step on Chris McAllister. McAllister a little fooled by the play action. But Eric Crouch couldn't get the ball to his big tight end. But they'll go back to him before this night is done. You mark my words.
Third down has not been good for either team. Because mostly they've been third and more than 5. Oh, disaster here. Motion penalty and a bad snap. And Crouch should just get down. He finally does at the 23-yard line. Boy, he took an odd twist to the leg when he went down as well. But he's okay. He gets up.
They had a whole bunch going wrong on this play. They had movement by their fullback, then the bad snap by their senior center, Josh Heskew. And Eric Crouch did the right thing of just making sure he got the football. First, there's going to be movement by D'Angelo Evans. That would have been a penalty on Nebraska first. And then the bad snap by the center.
It was a declinable penalty, so it will bring up fourth down, the obvious decline of the penalty. Rare mistake by Heskew. Evans made the first miscue.
Not very often do you get to decline a penalty and still make them back up before they punt the football. That's a good deal right there for Arizona. Fourth and long.
I'm sorry, Todd. They got to the last one, so LaFleur wants to set up a return this time. And he gets off his best pick of the night. Northcutt backs up to the 20. And as Northcutt has some room, but a nice open field tackle by the man who snapped it, Raiola. The freshman from Hawaii cleaned up a 59-yard punt with a 15-yard return.
Well, they're really high on this young freshman from Hawaii. He got the start tonight at offensive guard, but watch how athletic he is for a 300-pounder running down the field. Got his head on a swivel, making sure nobody's going to clip him from the outside. Down there and in position to make a tackle. That's an athletic play for a 300-pound guy. Dominic Raiola has a very bright future. Maybe the next great offensive lineman at the University of Nebraska.
First Hawaiian scholarship player at Nebraska. Pete Smith, another drive. Neither team has been effective here in the third offensively. Dennis Northcutt with the catch. Pulled down at the 39-yard line. ABC's New Year's Day tripleheader. The CompUSA Florida Citrus Bowl, Michigan, Arkansas. Then the Granddaddy, the Rose Bowl presented by AT&T, UCLA, Wisconsin. Pinocchio Sugar Bowl with Ohio State, Texas A&M. Saturday night in prime time, Syracuse takes on Florida in the FedEx Orange Bowl. Then Monday night, the national championship game, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, Tennessee, Florida State on ABC, your home for the Bowl Championship Series. On 2nd and 5, Canada. Finally, some room, and Sprung gets across the field into the 45. 16 is longest run of the night.
They were finally able to give him a crease. It's a little counter trap with the guard pulling and also the lead block by Paul Shields, the H-back. They're able to get some room in there for Trunk Candidate. The first time they really created a nice crease for the tailback to get through.
It has 50 yards on 12 carries. Finally a first down for Arizona here in this third quarter. Brian Trunk with more room to the 31-yard line. So two big back-to-back
back-to-back runs.
Two big back-to-back runs, two identical plays. They ran the exact same play back the other way. Watch now, they're going to pull the guard, and then Shields will lead on the play, too. It's the counter back to the wide side of the field. Here comes the guard, kick out, lead with Paul Shields. Enough of a block on the linebacker, Carlos Polk. And truncated it, two good runs in a row on the same counter trap play. And that's been their bread and butter play all year. Going back to it now, Dino Babers going to the play that's been good to him all season.
Keep running, start throwing. What do you do here? Try to throw again. Gets 3 to the 28. Mike Brown, nice ankle tackle. The thing in watching him as we looked at some film this morning again, which was impressive about Truncated, is how quickly he can turn it upfield and show that explosive speed. If he makes a few people miss and gets the help up front, that's why he's had so many long touchdowns.
And when he's able to hit that hole with some speed, he is double dangerous. And what Nebraska has been able to do to him most of this night is make him hesitate and move his speed and slow down before he gets to the area. Couple good runs here, though, in the third quarter for Truncated.
On 2nd and 8. Smith to the air. Nice catch by Shields. Mike Brown said there is no possible way somebody can catch the ball past me with that kind of angle on the coverage. But Shields, his second reception of this season.
Excellent coverage by Mike Brown, the strong safety on Shields. Shields is kind of a combination guy, a very valuable guy in this offense. We've seen him lead block as the H-back. Now we see him out as a receiver. When they trained him to play this position, they started by making him a tight end and not even letting him catch a pass. It was all blocking, learn how to block. And then they put in the passing game, and then they let him run a little bit.
Third and a couple. Out of the power set, Smith is stopped by Julius Jackson again. And he's shy of the first down. Well, Eric Johnson goes out with the injury, but Julius Jackson, the junior, out of Texas, made big plays in his stead.
Nebraska came in with 5 down linemen on this short yardage situation. They're trying to fake to the fullback and run the option, and good pursuit to the football. Julius Jackson has made a couple big plays in this ballgame, coming in for Eric Johnson.
Trailing by 4 with a minute and a half left. Arizona choosing to go for it here, and now the play is stopped momentarily by the official. You see they need about 2/3 of a yard. The Nebraska defensive coordinator, Charlie McBride, taking the timeout to yell at his troops.
The 25-second clock is not operating. We will keep the 25-second count on the field. 25-second clock is not operating. We will keep it on the field.
Is that tough on a quarterback when that clock goes out? Do you rely on it so much that you don't have it in the back of your head?
Well, I mean, you kind of get used to it. You get in a habit of looking up at it, and it's kind of a comfort thing, but you still should have that built-in clock in your head from the way you practice.
4th and 1 for Arizona.
Timeout. They just tried to draw them off sides, Mike. Did you see how they ran up out of the huddle and lined up really quickly, hoping to try to draw Nebraska off sides? The ploy did not work.
Chuck McBride's black shirts not fooled. Now, will Arizona keep going, or will they choose to attempt a field goal?
Well, another interesting thing now, Ortiz Jenkins, the other quarterback, is up with his helmet on again, up close to this huddle on the sideline. Jerry said they've worked on a couple plays with both quarterbacks in the game. One play that they also have is keeping Jenkins in the backfield and running the option, handing the ball off to the other quarterback and letting him come down the line and run the option. It's kind of out of the power formation. Let's see if that's a play they may try to go to here on 4th down.
Jerry?
Well, Ortiz Jenkins, as you said, he is definitely a competitor. He would like to be in the football game right now, but I think the cooler heads are going to prevail. You saw him a moment ago getting a pad worked on, talking about Ortiz. he was having some muscle spasms in his low back. I'm not so sure he's going to be that effective, even if he does play in the fourth quarter, which would be his rotation to come back in at quarterback. But they're going to hold him out right now, and I think just go with a single quarterback on this fourth down situation.
Hey, Jerry, is it cool down there on the field? It feels a lot cooler up here in the booth.
It has certainly cooled down, probably some 15, maybe 18 or 20 degrees. It has gotten quite cool down here. That's why we're seeing so many hamstrings and some lower back spasms.
4th and 1, Arizona. First down, Wildcats.
Nice second effort by Ifan. Carlos Polk gets into the backfield, but he's not able to trip up Ifan, and Ifan uses his strength to run over Mike Brown. Good hard-nosed run by their leader. The players and coaches call Kelvin Ifan the heartbeat of their team.
And you saw the reaction from Ortiz Jenkins. Quarterback position's usually about ego, not with these guys. They define team players. Now Kennedy tries to hop through the hole. Mike Brown stuck him at the 16 and was glad to do it.
This has got to be a special game for Mike Brown. He's from Scottsdale, Arizona. Probably knows a lot of these Arizona players. Played against them in high school. Had a great season this year playing strong safety at Nebraska. Led the team in tackles, over 100 tackles.
Got to bounce around this year between free safety and Rover. Sticks his nose in against the run. 2nd and 7. I'll take a shot at the end zone here. Keep it on the ground with candidate. Rucker made the stop, and the third quarter will come to an end. A rapid, low-scoring third quarter. Arizona has scored at least 27 points every game this year. They've been held to 9 through 45 minutes because of the black shirt defense of Nebraska. A defense that may not have the All-Americans, may not have the stars like they have in the past, but the effort tonight has been outstanding from Mike Rucker, Jack Kelsey on the rush ends, and the secondary as well. We've played 3 quarters of the 21st edition of the Culligan Holiday Bowl from Canada and Arizona, trailed by 4. Stand by for the fourth quarter with the Wildcats facing third down from the Nebraska 15.
Pure cold shower from nature, bringing life to your home, to the world. Culligan is water, water for life. Culligan is water, water for life.
Culligan, proud sponsor of the Culligan Holiday Bowl.
Time is running out on Buick Swingin' the 99. And for a short time only, we've got numbers that'll make your head spin. Low 0.99 APR financing on every 99 Buick for an average finance savings of up to $4,200. And a new twist, no monthly payments for 99 days. But these numbers won't be around much longer, so better jump now. Swing into your Buick dealer today.
If you could accompany your data on this trip overseas, the experience would be alarming. Local carriers handing it to national carriers, over to cable carriers, until you don't know who has your data. Unless you send it through here, with the one and only company that owns the entire network, local, national, and international. So you know who has your data. OnNet from MCI WorldCom.
The Napa Legend battery has smart plates, which are up to 28% thicker than the grids in ordinary batteries. That's important, because the battery won't get drained as easily, even if you leave the lights on. Napa, over 200,000 parts. And everyone's important.
Okay, my big debut. Here we go. Wise, wise, wise. Okay, I'm ready when you are.
Good.
Wise. Did he forget his line or what? Is this the regular one or is he the understudy? Is this, yeah, thank you. Hey, you got to wait for me. Hold it, not you. He goes, then wait a second, not you. Hold it. Why? Why? I can't work in this environment. Cut! Cut!
And now the fourth quarter. Arizona's enjoyed its best season ever. 11 wins. They could finish number 3 in the country, perhaps number 2. They need to get the work done here in the fourth. They trail Nebraska by 4. Here comes the 10th play of their best drive since the opening quarter. Nebraska brings pressure. Smith fires. Touchdown! What a catch by Brad Brennan! Those 100 relatives of Brad Brennan's who came here from Redwood City, along with his friends, have reason to really celebrate now. Extra point added by Mark McDonald. Arizona leads 16-13.
I want to show you one thing Keith Smith did on this play really well. Watch him look off this safety, Clint Finley, and know he can get the post in there. All he's got to do is hold Finley for a half a second. He holds him in the middle. That's one step too late for Finley to get over and help the corner. In this case, Mike Brown. Brennan's in the slot working against Mike Brown, the strong safety. He thinks he has help inside. Finley can't get there in time.
Keith Smith did the look off, felt the pressure, knows that if he didn't score there, that may have been his last shot for a while. Maybe go to Ortiz, but he shows he can have the hot hand on the touchdown pass to Brennan. And Jenkins, you think he's rooting for his guys? Of course he is. As Smith hooks up with Brennan, who's seeing more action because of the injury to Jeremy McDaniel, and they hook up for the touchdown.
And when that happens, when you lose a guy like that, somebody else has to step up and make some plays. And Brad Brennan has stepped up for the Arizona Wildcats.
Brennan had the big 63-yard catch earlier. Now the 15-yard touchdown. Arizona lead and hit the foot of the up back, so it has to be caught by Tracy Wickstrom, and he's taken down. The touchdown man, Brad Brennan. Remember watching the Arizona State-Arizona game. Arizona wins. The fans storm the field, and Brennan, as the fans wanted to bring down the goalpost, climbed right up on it. Had a 111-yard catch day, sat up on the goalpost, and soaked in the moment. The junior from California, who comes up with the big touchdown to put the Wildcats on top.
You know, we've talked about how the special teams of Arizona have been so good tonight. One thing they have not done well is their kickoff, and whatever their strategy is of trying to not kick the ball down the field has really backfired and given Nebraska good starting field position whenever they've kicked off the football.
Now Nebraska, which had field position in the second and third quarter in their advantage, made it work late in the second, didn't in the third. Kraft looking up top. Intercepted, what a great catch by the All-American McAllister, who fumbled! And Nebraska gets it back. Kenny Cheatham made the recovery. They don't come your way all night. You get one, you make a big play, and Nebraska gets it back. It will be first down. Husker.
Well, McAllister was playing zone here. He wasn't in man-to-man coverage. He was just in the right place, but you see his athletic ability reacting to the thrown ball and going up in the air for it. And the pursuit of Cheatham from the backside, able to get that ball out and then fall on it for Nebraska. A huge break for the Cornhuskers.
Nobody's happy after that play. Nebraska's upset. Arizona feels they should have had the ball. Instead, it's first and 10. And D'Angelo Evans is stopped by Deshaun Polk and Chris McAllister. McAllister from Pasadena, California, the only first-team All-America on the field. So when the Arizona team was upset about not getting to their first ever Rose Bowl, you know, McAllister had to be crushed. He could have closed out his collegiate career in his hometown. Now had to stick his nose in on run stops.
And he did exactly what you want a corner to do. He took on the bigger man coming out, Raiola. He turned the play back to the inside, knowing that he had help coming from there. Deshaun Holt gets the tackle, but McAllister did his job in run support.
2nd and 9. Crouch's pass with way too much air and incomplete.
See, this is not Nebraska's game, dropping back and throwing like this. Chris McAllister, we saw him make an interception a moment ago. They're trying to get him involved in the defense. This time they bring him on a blitz. He gets double-teamed. Can't get to the quarterback. But Arizona and Rich Ellerson trying to find other ways to get his best player involved in what they're doing defensively.
McAllister, who made a recruiting visit to Lincoln, now locks up in man coverage on Cheatham. 3rd and 9. McAllister coming. Crouch getting away to Cheatham. And he got the first down.
What a great play by Eric Crouch, Mike. I mean, he knew the blitz was coming. He knew McAllister was unblocked. And for a young freshman, had the presence to stay in there and deliver the football downfield to Cheatham. A great play by Eric Crouch. Here comes McAllister again. He's going to come on the blitz untouched. Both backs go the other way. He comes off the corner. Nobody touches him, but great presence by Eric Crouch to stay in there and deliver the football.
You saw the sod in McAllister's helmet. He was slow coming off the field. They were late getting the sub on. Nebraska broke the huddle, and Arizona had to burn a timeout. The second one they've used.
Great disguise by Arizona. He lined up right over top of Cheatham, and it completely fooled the Nebraska team. They weren't expecting that corner blitz, but Eric Crouch made a great reaction to it and still made the completion.
One timeout left for Arizona. McAllister, the All-America, almost got there, but Crouch keeps the drive alive.
Time is running out on Buick Swingin' the 99. And for a short time only, we've got numbers that'll make your head spin. Low 0.99 APR financing on every 99 Buick for an average finance savings of up to $4,200. And the new twist, no monthly payments for 99 days. But these numbers won't be around much longer, so better jump now. Swing into your Buick dealer today.
It has arrived. The day when you stop listening to the tales of other lives lived and begin the odyssey that will be your story. When you find the destiny to which you were born, all you need to bring with you is your honor, your courage, and your commitment. It's your journey. Make it a good one. Call 1-800-USA-NAVY. Let the journey begin.
Pure, cold shower from nature, bringing life to your home, to the world. Come and get water, water for life. Come and get water, water for life.
Culligan, proud sponsor of the Culligan Holiday Bowl.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of Bowl Week and the 1998 Culligan Holiday Bowl is presented by Culligan, proud sponsor of the Culligan Holiday Bowl, and in part by Rolaids. Rolaids, R-O-L-A-I-D-S, spells relief.
This bowl game has made its name because of great finishes in close games. It's been a while, though. Only 2 of the last 10 have been decided by 7 points or less. Looks like we have a close one here as Chris McAllister and the Arizona defense just watched Eric Crouch in Nebraska come up with a huge third down conversion. It's 1st and 10, Nebraska. Crouch keeping on the option and gets stuck. You can hear the contact on the hit by Eli Winnick, who's shaken up. There you see McAllister thrown at just 4 times tonight. Not visited very often, but came up with a breakup and an interception.
And I think it's really interesting what Rich Ellerson has done here in this series. 2 plays in a row, he blitzed them off the corner. He says, hey, if they're not going to throw at him, they're going to try to stay away from him. I'm going to bring Chris McAllister to the Nebraska offense. They try to stay away from him. I'm going to bring him to the action. That's why he's blitzing them here in this series in the 4th quarter.
Winnick took a really hard pop
on the defense. Player on the defensive line.
And here an onside penalty.
5-yard penalty
and
from the previous spot.
For Arizona.
Replay, first down.
Youngster made the play, Eli Winnick. And they're talking to him on the field.
Shows you a little bit about how physical Eric Crouch is also. It was the quarterback who Winnick hit on this play as he turned it up inside. You got to be a tough guy. You see Crouch's head gets jolted back, but as it turns out, Winnick gets the worst of that collision, but it was a good hit on Eric Crouch. And again, to play quarterback in this offense for Nebraska, you have to be a tough guy, and Eric Crouch is definitely a tough customer.
Winnick, a Pac-10 academic performer, 3.75 GPA as he comes off the field. Now, you talk academics, and we say the term student-athlete doesn't apply often enough in college sports. It does with these teams, especially Nebraska. Nebraska has 3 more first-team, national first-team academic All-Americans this year, including Makovica, the fullback, behind Crouch. 55 first-team All-Americans academically in Nebraska history, 17 more than the next on that list, Notre Dame. Nebraska doesn't just win championships, they send champions into the real world. 1st and 5 for Crouch. Oh, how did he get free? The strength and the quickness shown in back-to-back plays by the freshman out of Omaha, Nebraska.
You're right, Mike, because Arizona actually got great penetration on this play. It looked like they were going to trip up Eric Crouch behind the line of scrimmage, but he was able to use his foot speed and quickness. Watch the penetration right there at the point of attack. They almost trip him up. Once he gets a little bit of a crease, he uses that speed to get outside.
Makovica absorbed the hit from Marcus Bell as well. Right there.
You know Marcus Bell's going to take a direct pass to the football, and that time it would have had to go through Joel Makovica.
On 1st and 10, they're trying to go up top. Wide open. It's the forgotten man, Tracy Wistrom. Tracy Wistrom moves it down into Arizona territory at the 27. 33 yards. And Makovica had another key block on that play.
Really a nice play call by Frank Solich. He sends 2 receivers deep. Arizona is convinced that Crouch is going to try to throw the ball deep downfield. They slip the other tight end, Wistrom, underneath. Here's Wistrom right here. Watch him come off underneath. 2 receivers are going deep. Eric Crouch reads the play, says, I don't have it deep. I'll dump it off to Wistrom. Big play in the passing game for Nebraska.
Crouch back to the air on 1st down. Makovica inside the 10 and down to the 6-yard line.
Mike, I've made this point in the game already, but it's worth making again. Nebraska on those 2 plays, that's throwing the football when they want to throw it, dictating when they throw the football. Not in 3rd and long, not in 2nd and long. Fake play action, throw short. When they're expecting run on the defense, that's when you want to throw the football. And in this series, this drive right now, Nebraska is throwing the ball when they want to.
This guy's so versatile, he practiced at I-back this fall when the injuries started leveling Frank Solich's team. But now, his squad has the higher passing total. What a drive this is. Remember, McAllister was going the other way for a touchdown on the interception. Now Crouch peaks and gets stood up at the 4 by Rafael Jones, the free safety who used to be an option quarterback. Maybe that helps him sniff out the option for Nebraska.
Arizona has done an outstanding job on the option tonight. They've been very sound fundamentally, knowing who has the quarterback, who has the pitch man. They've not given up the big play in the option. That's the thing you fear when you're an aggressive defense, is giving up a big play where they start the man playing at the end of it. And Arizona hasn't had to worry about that tonight. They've been very fundamentally sound in defending the option.
Jones, the starting center fielder on the Arizona baseball team. 2nd and goal. Crouch with time and space for Wistrom. Touchdown!
Crouch first. If Kenny Cheatham doesn't hustle and force McAllister to fumble the interception, Nebraska doesn't have the ball and doesn't march 90-plus yards. Chris Brown, the all-time NCAA extra point maker, has another one. All he does is make big plays, Wistrom. Has a big catch on this drive. His 2 pass receptions this year were 62 yards and then 33 yards. 2 catches on this drive, including the touchdown, and Nebraska retakes the lead.
Time is running out on Buick Swinging the 99. And for a short time only, we've got numbers that'll make your head spin. Low 0.99 APR financing on every 99 Buick for an average finance savings of up to $4,200. And the new twist, no monthly payments for 99 days. But these numbers won't be around much longer, so better jump now. Swing into your Buick dealer today.
Hey, you got a quarter?
Out of cash? Did you know if you use 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls, you pay the same low rate 24 hours a day, anywhere, anytime? And it's the guaranteed cheap way to make collect calls. That's great, right? C-A-L-L-A-T-T. C-A-L-L-A-T-T.
I got it.
Use 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls.
Now, on pay-per-view, nothing can prepare you for the event that will rock the world. Armageddon. Now on pay-per-view, rated PG-13. No matter what you drive, import or domestic, Pep Boys has your battery. Get any ProStart 75-month battery from $39.99. ProStart name brand quality battery starting at a low price of just $39.99. Pep Boys. Cars like us, people love us.
It's a Southern showdown as Aaron Brooks and the Cavaliers battle Quincy Carter and the Dogs. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, Georgia, Virginia at 5, Thursday on ESPN.
His brother Grant twice an All-America at Nebraska on the defensive front. The tight end Tracy Wistrom, the freshman, with the big catches on that drive as Nebraska takes a 4-point lead.
Made a great point there, Mike. A huge assist on that touchdown play and drive has to go to Kenny Cheatham for his hustle play on the McAllister interception.
Chris Brown's kickoff is shorter than the others. Short cut from the 9. Finds an opening to the 32. Show you the touchdown to put Nebraska ahead.
I'll show you something now. Here's Wistrom. He's going to run to the corner. They're going to cross with the tight end and the motion man. And I want you to know what Eric Crouch does here. This play doesn't happen quickly. It's not open right now. And he makes a throw where it's either his guy can make a catch or it's incomplete. There's nothing else bad that can happen on this play. Either his guy makes it or it goes out of bounds harmlessly. A perfect throw by Eric Crouch, giving his taller receiver a chance, and Tracy Wistrom comes down with the touchdown.
Eric Crouch, who had to sit out a year because of an ankle injury so severe coming out of high school and needed more surgery. He's battled through a lot of pain and a lot of people in his way to be the Nebraska starting quarterback. Now to Keith Smith's answer. He starts with Paul Steele. An 8-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 2. Still plenty of time left with 10.5 here in the 4th quarter. But an exhilarating start to this final period. Sellout crowd here at Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. First sellout of this game in a few years, and the tickets were gobbled up by the fans from each school as soon as the matchup was announced. Kennedy made 2 people miss, but on his knees, Steve Warren was able to get an arm up and upend him. Jason Wilk will be credited with most of the tackles. Watch the scores go by. We remind you that SportsCenter will follow our game. Basketball after that.
Again, look at Rucker chasing the play down from the backside. He doesn't get the tackle, but the 2 rush ends really playing well, chasing things down from behind. Both seniors playing in their last college game for the Cornhuskers.
It is a first down for Arizona. Smith pumps short, covered long, takes off, and he's still going. Hit hard by Mike Brown, and loves to lay a lick. Keith Smith to the 36. He picked up 20.
Really a good decision by Keith Smith. They tried to set up the corner and go out and up on Sweeney with Northcutt. It was covered. You see, watch the pump fake. They want to go out and up. Makes a good decision to run up the gut. At that time, there was no inside push by Nebraska. And Keith Smith was able to get it in.
Smith, if you saw coming to the sidelines, came out. Ortiz Jenkins is in. It's not by design, but because of the hit. Their hands are Canada. Crum finds some room to the 23-yard line. A 12-yard, 15-yard pickup, I beg your pardon, for the junior. Come on here in the second half.
Nice lead block out in front by Savea. Good cutback by Trunk Canada. Again, he had a little crease. We've seen his explosiveness tonight. We didn't see it in the first half, but he's had a couple opportunities here in the second half.
Smith has his helmet on, right near the coaches again. Jenkins stays in for this first and 10. Canada finds a small crease to pick up 3 yards. Gary Punch.
Well, Keith Smith should be going back in momentarily. Back here talking about bringing Ortiz off over right now. Smith getting the play to go back in. The only reason he came out of the ballgame a moment ago was because he had his shoe come off. And so they were trying to get the shoe unfolded and back on his foot. And now he gets the play. He'll be headed back in to resume running the offense here in the final 8.5 minutes.
The horse threw his shoe. Well, that's where the two-quarterback system all year helps you, because there is complete comfort with the backup coming in at a moment's notice. Arizona in the red zone where they struggled tonight. Toss to Trump. And it waits for his block. But missed by Jay Foreman. The yard there. Good hit by the man who was one of 10 Butkus semifinalists.
This play looked like it had a chance because Rucker, they were able to get him pinned inside. They took care of the end man, but Canada wasn't able to turn up field and get good speed. And again, you see the speed of the Nebraska defense. Both these defenses run to the outside, run to the sideline extremely well. Good play by Foreman.
Third and 6, so Canada, who now has 95 yards for the night, comes out. Ifan, the better blocker and receiver, is in. It's on the move, running for it. Got the first down inside the 10.
His shoe works pretty well.
First and goal.
Well, this time they ran a twist. Kelsey went inside, and Lauren Kaiser came outside. Kaiser doesn't have near the speed that Chad Kelsey does, and Smith was able to turn the corner on the Nebraska defense. Normally, they rush that end right up the field, and that would have been Kelsey that Smith would have had to get around. That time, they ran the end inside, brought the tackle out, and Smith was easily able to outrun Kaiser.
First and goal, Arizona looking to retake the lead. Play action. Smith, room to run. Takes off, got a block, and got to the 1. Almost shades of his buddy Ortiz Jenkins getting pushed up in the air and somersaulting into the end zone against Washington.
Keep an eye on Paul Shields downfield getting a block, too. He's one of those seniors that Dick Tomey said playing his best football this year as a senior. Keith Smith looking for his tight end. Lucky can't get it there, but because of the block by Shields downfield, gets it down inside the 5. Another good decision by Keith Smith. If it's not there, make something positive happen.
Almost looked like John Elway in the Super Bowl when Elway got whirly-birded around, heading in the same end zone where that happened. This is where the Broncos won their Super Bowl. Second and goal. Arizona looking to take the lead. Ifan. Touchdown! The man who led the Pac-10 in touchdown scores
offensive lineman start running. He wasn't running off the field. He was running to check on one of the offensive linemen. The starting tackle, Manu Savea, is shaken up on the play. So they will look at Savea before the extra point. This offensive line that's been so cohesive all year. No one lost to injury.
Yeah, they were able to start the same 5 every game, and they did this a lot. Just open a little hole for Ifan, his 17th rushing touchdown of the season now. None of them over 10 yards. I mean, he's a short yardage specialist. Dick Tomey said he's never had a better leader, a better captain, better guy in his team than Kelvin Ifan. He's not a starter, but he's been a great leader. He's a guy that everybody on the team has tremendous respect for. And one of the real reasons the chemistry of this Arizona team has been as good as it's been.
So Kelvin Ifan's touchdown puts Arizona on top.
Savea coming off the field okay. I think he just had some cramps. Went to the ground and worked on him, and he's off on his own power now.
4th lead came to the night. Mark McDonald on to add the extra point, which he does. Touchdowns on 3 consecutive possessions, 2 for Arizona. The latest by Ifan. A drive led by Smith gives Arizona the lead.
Jeff Foxworthy is back. As 98 draws to a close, there's just one thing left to do. Party to the nines. On New Year's Eve, Comcast counts down to 1999 with a live party from Disney MGM Studios at the Walt Disney World Resort, featuring the unstoppable Margaret Cho.
He's so funny.
Groove with Jefferson Starship. It's another Comcast original. This New Year's Eve, party to the nines with Comcast. The countdown starts at 9, 8 Central. Be there.
Hi, I'm Jet Puckett inviting you to our 10-day only sale. The comfort, the power, the luxury of the Lincoln lineup at the best prices of the year. $4.99 a month. The 1999 Lincoln Town Car, classic luxury, classic styling. Or the 1999 Lincoln Navigator, the ultimate sport utility. Your choice, $4.99 a month. 10 days only. Don't miss this, folks. Stay at home. Buy and roam. Happy holidays. Wayne Blackwood for Lincoln Mercury.
EN2, Friday Night Fights. This week, start off the new year with a Muhammad Ali retrospective. Friday Night Fights. Friday at 8 on ESPN2.
Later on SportsCenter, the nation's top 3 hoops teams take to the court. Who's in and who's out of the weekend wild card games, and bowl previews roll in from across the nation. Steve Levy, Carl Ravitch, SportsCenter after the game.
Back in San Diego, just over 6 minutes remaining in this 21st edition of the Culligan Holiday Bowl. What an effort by Kelvin Ifan, the young man who's the fullback at Arizona, who was injured on Christmas Eve, had his ankle rolled up on, has not practiced since Christmas Eve. The players and coaches said, we don't know if he'll be able to play or not. Ifan said, I will play. He is the emotional leader of this Wildcat offense. He was incredible in the locker room at halftime. Someone said it looked like Tarzan going from wall to wall without a vine. But this young man, with all the emotion and a lot of guts, puts it in the end zone for Arizona and puts them back on top.
Recruited to Arizona, Jerry, on a basketball scholarship. He couldn't play football his first fall because of the hoop scholarship. Finally, a deep kickoff. But opportunity for Shevin Wiggins to bring it back to the 30-yard line. So Eric Crouch will lead Nebraska back on the field in an important drive for the Huskers, Tom.
Well, we thought that Eric Crouch, for Nebraska to win, was going to have to make some plays throwing the football. He did in the last drive. He's going to have to do it again here. This is the most important drive for Nebraska because there's 6 minutes left. They can still mix in run and pass here. They're not into a hurry-up situation yet.
They'll start in the air with a screen that is deflected on a great play by Deshaun Polk. The key place in this defense is where 31 lines up.
They're going to try to slip Buckholder out there to throw the screen after the play action. but it was a good job pursuing the play, even if it was completed. Arizona was in pretty good position. Here's Buckhalter. They were trying to get the screen to him, but Arizona was in pretty good position to make a play on it. Tafoya in good position there anyway.
Second down, Crouch. Bad option pitch. It was behind Buckhalter, who was all taped up as well. So maybe he wasn't in the spot he normally is because he's not 100%.
Well, I think this is on Eric Crouch. The pitch has to be out in front of the back. Should never be behind him. You don't want him to have to slow down to try to make the catch. But see, this is not an ideal situation for Nebraska. Third down and long, probably out of the shotgun. They need to throw when they're in play-action mode.
Bringing more of a receiver set with Davison and Lance Brown. Then 5 in the pattern. Crouch zings it down the middle. Is it a catch?
Wow.
Yes, it is. Davison caught it. Mr. Big Play, who's used to scooping them before they hit the grass. Remember the dramatic catch against Missouri last year. Shaken up, but moving the chains for his team.
Nice job up front by Nebraska. It was a blitz, picked up very well, allowing Crouch to stay in there and make the play.
Very nice catch.
Very good catch by Davison. 32 catches on the season. Crouch takes the hit at the end, but a good throw.
Option, Crouch keeping to the 45 into Arizona territory. They've come up with a couple of big third down conversions on the last few drives to keep it going. Frank Solich trying to become the first-year Nebraska coach to win 10 games in that inaugural campaign. Osborne 1-9, Devaney 1-9.
See, this is the drive for Frank Solich in Nebraska because there's enough time on the clock that they don't have to run a no-huddle offense. They can still run the ball. They can still use the option. This is a good setup for Nebraska as long as they can keep moving the chains right now.
Makovica carrying, and the fullback gets to the 41.
So the situation you're thinking of right now, if you're Frank Solich, is, worst case scenario now, we get another couple first downs, and we have Chris Brown, the all-time leading scorer in our school. We can put this game into overtime. If we can go beyond that and get a touchdown, we can try to win the game on this particular drive. But they don't have to get into a hurry-up mode, which works in their favor.
Brown, that is snuffed out. What great strength from Daniel Greer, the man we highlighted on the defensive line to start tonight. Drove his would-be blocker right back into the quarterback.
Huge play by Daniel Greer because that knocks him back into another third and long. They were able to convert a moment ago, but this time Daniel Greer just does a great job getting inside of Ben Gessler, number 72. Cut right across the tackle's face, did a nice job getting up the field and forcing the long yardage situation for Nebraska.
After his play by the first-team All-Pac-10 defensive lineman, Crouch. Looking long. McAllister interception. Out of bounds at the 31. The All-American makes a big play on Nebraska's 4th turnover of the night.
Well, it was good pressure by Tafoya. That's what started this. It broke up the timing. Eric Crouch had to reload, and if you're going to throw late, you sure don't want to throw late on this guy, Chris McAllister. He had his eyes on that ball the whole way, made a great play on the football.
His second interception of the night. He had 5 during the year. The All-American, with help from the defensive front, gives Arizona the ball with the lead.
Pure, cold shower from nature. Bringing life to your home, to the world. Come and get it, water. Water for life. Come and get it, water. Water for life.
proud sponsor of the Culligan Holiday Bowl.
Time is running out on Buick Swinging the 99. And for a short time only, we've got numbers that'll make your head spin. Low 0.99 APR financing on every 99 Buick for an average finance savings of up to $4,200. And a new twist, no monthly payments for 99 days. But these numbers won't be around much longer, so better jump now. Swing into your Buick dealer today.
Get ready to taste life for the first time, people. Watch out now. You want to taste life? Then take a big swig of this. New Pepsi One. This one's got it all. The most awesome cola taste. That's bigger than the Wild Blue Yonder. But only 1 calorie. You want to taste one? Yeah. You want one? Yeah. You want one?
You got one for me?
Put your tray table up and prepare for takeoff, my man.
All the taste, 1 calorie. Only one has it all.
Arizona leads by 3. They just got the huge interception by McAllister. Here's what set it up. Watch Tafoya, 99, get the good inside rush on Gesford. He forces Eric Crouch to reload, and by that time it's too late. You're not going to throw the ball late down the field and beat Chris McAllister. Great rush by Tafoya, and a typical Chris McAllister play on the other end.
The Arizona defense answers the call as Nebraska has outgained the Wildcats here tonight. Now with 3:10, Nebraska has all 3 of its timeouts remaining. And Arizona grinded out. Strong candidate. A much better second half than first. Gets 5 yards. Well, McAllister, who had the interception earlier and fumbled, also has a fumble recovery in addition to those numbers. Hasn't been thrown at much, but still has made an impact on this Culligan Holiday Bowl.
Yeah, he's an impact player, no question, and he's a guy that you need to be aware of where he's at, whether it's on special teams or on defense. You know, the thing that amazed me about him, when I watched all the defensive backs walk off the field in practice the other day, he's a whole head taller than all the other DBs. He's a big, physical guy. That's why the NFL guys like him so much.
NFL first rounder. On 2nd and 5. Benedict, who just went over 100 yards, now has 101. Nebraska will stop the clock before 3rd and 4 with 2:19 to go. Crouch hoping to get his hands on the ball one more time. Hoping the black shirts can get it done. 3rd down coming when you come back.
There's a new force you can use to help your small business. Introducing Sprint Business Flex, a new communications plan you can adapt to help your business grow. Add toll-free, long distance, global service, and more. Business Flex adapts along with you. You're in control, so charge ahead and feel free to make the right moves. Plus, with Business Flex, you get a monthly bonus that can grow as you grow, so your success can really pay off. Call 1-888-SPRINT-BIZ. We help your business do more business.
Bumper-to-bumper traffic? Anyone? Change the oil. Endless construction? Scooter. Change the oil. High cholesterol? Change the oil. Every driving adventure is an opportunity to win one of 100,000 prizes found hidden under the cap. Specially marked Pennzoil Motor Oil. Trips to ESPN sporting events, the ESPY, merchandise from Pennzoil and ESPN can be yours if we change the oil. Twist, turn, score.
Great look from the Goodyear blimp above as Arizona leads Nebraska 23-20 in the Holiday Bowl. 3rd and 4. They need to get across the 39 for a 1st down. Smith, good cut, got a block, and got a 1st down across the 40. Brad Brennan, who's had 2 big catches, and he made a big block that may be the difference maker for Zona. 1st down, Wildcats. Timeout coming after this play.
Excellent job. Watch the motion come across here. They know they only need 4 yards. It's a quick throw right away. Get it in his hands. A good block by Brennan. A good block by Brandon Nash. And that's all they needed. Brennan and Nash are in there to get a block. They both do their job. and Northcutt makes the first down. Well-conceived play for a crucial third down conversion.
Arizona only had 10 players in the huddle. They got out late. Remember, there's no play clock to look at. They get it off in time. Ifan hurling up the middle to the 48. The Huskers were told to stop the clock. They let a few seconds go off and now get it stopped with 95 seconds to go. So that Nebraska timeout total goes from 2. Now they have 1 timeout remaining. While we have a moment, since the end of this game is far more significant than our little internal business, we want to do 2 things. One, say hello to Brian Ryder, part of our crew all year, our associate producer, whose back went out on him out here in San Diego, and he's home watching, grading us, I'm sure. But Rides, we miss you out here. And the Thursday night group, who was with you all year for Thursday Night Football, had the pleasure of doing this Culligan Holiday Bowl. And while we have a moment, a thank you to all the guys who work in the production unit and the ladies as well, led by our producer Tim Corrigan and our director Mike Schwab. If there are better people to work with, we haven't found them. If there are better people to travel with and be with, we haven't been around them. Thank you to them and our entire crew. Alpo, Ish, Melinda up here in the booth with Marty Aronoff, the king of stats, and John Aronoff. We get a father-son combination in the booth to keep us in line. Todd's dad, Ron, as well. Guys, thank you. It has been a joy, and what a great place to finish the season. Remember that. 2nd and 5. E5. To midfield. Will Nebraska use its final timeout here? Yes, they will. With 89 seconds to go. A timeout here. The play of the game coming up.
Get up, get down. Hang hard, hang loose. Out back in the sun.
You know that little voice in your head makes you feel guilty for having too much of a good thing? Yeah, we don't either.
Outback Steakhouse, no rules, just right.
Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right. PC Connection has what you want. Call now. Save almost $1,800 on an IBM ThinkPad 770. 14.1-inch active matrix screen, P2266, DVD drive, 64 megs RAM, 8.1 gig hard drive. The ultimate multimedia ThinkPad, only $26.99. Call 1-888-YOUR-WAY now and have it on your desk before lunch tomorrow. PC Connection, your best direct source for IBM computer products. Your branch, your way, next day. PC Connection.
Our buddies Carl Ravitch and Steve Levy are settling in Studio A for SportsCenter, a Big Ten hoop upset tonight. NFL injury update on Drew Bledsoe and the Pats, and a report from Chris Lee and Kirk in Tempe. Then the Rainbow Classic College Basketball Championship game. But now the key down, 3rd and 3, an Arizona first down, and they'll win the Culligan Holiday Bowl. And whistles are called.
Wow. Get the offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd.
And now the non-functioning 25-second play clock really makes a difference.
Now that is tough now because you're on the sideline for a timeout, so you don't know exactly when they start that play clock. That's a tough situation and a very, very tough penalty for Arizona because it totally changes this 3rd down play. They had a chance to really run one in there. One more first down puts this game away for Arizona.
And same thing, the play clock started 12 seconds ago, and now the play is just getting in.
Right.
3rd and 8.
They'll still probably run it here. Counter trap with Ifan.
Smith will keep and run, get pulled down by Rucker. Nebraska will get the ball back. The clock will run down, and we'll listen for the whistle to start the play clock. Give you an idea of how much time they'll have.
I would imagine Arizona will take a penalty here and punt 5 more yards deeper, but run every bit of time off the clock as they can. Nebraska can't stop the clock again.
It's 25 seconds from 1:09, so that will be 51 seconds approximately. Somehow I screwed up that math. I knew I did. It's 41.
They didn't teach that at Syracuse, did they?
Yes, they did.
A dead ball foul, delay of the game against the offense, 5 penalty, still 4th down.
He ran out of fingers and toes. That's what happened.
It's because I had gloves on for all that time. It was so cold. So 42 seconds, not 52, for Springston to kick it away. There's his average. He's had 4 37-yard punts now. Exactly 37 yards 4 times. Nebraska not bringing everybody. 3 men deep to receive. Still got a nice rush on, very high. Brown did not fair catch it. It took a sideways hop at the 26. Eric Crouch has to try to get him in field goal range for Chris Brown, whose career long is a 51-yarder, so you think they have to get to around the 34-yard line.
Well, Eric Crouch has got an arm now, and I enjoyed watching him throw the football in practice. He's only completed 48% of his passes this year, but he certainly has a strong enough arm to make the kind of throws you would need to make in a drive like this. But this just isn't Nebraska football to have to try to get in position to win a game out of this kind of formation in this kind of situation.
They need about 40 yards to get in field goal range. Crouch looks for a lot of it early. Incomplete. Cheatham streaking down the field. They went away from McAllister, and the off-tested Kelvin Hunter stood up to the challenge.
Trying to take a shot with their big receiver, Cheatham. Cheatham at 6'4", 210 pounds, going against the 5'9" Hunter. Pretty close.
Cheatham has been dinged up a lot, asked out. 4 receivers on 2nd and 10. And is caught, but inbounds for Haskey, and they've got to hustle. They can't just down the ball, too. No timeouts left for Nebraska. Still have to pick up a 1st down, and the SEC officials having a tough time getting it spotted here. We're down to 9 seconds left. It's 3rd down, remember. And they down it with 4. If you're in that situation, you usually get up under the center. And now they've got 1 play left.
Well, that's why I just said, Mike, this is not the way Nebraska is used to trying to win football games. Some teams are used to doing it this way. Nebraska is not.
Arizona wants a timeout to make sure it gets things set properly. Remember, Arizona's number 6 in the country. There's the clock running. The official couldn't find the spot. Now got the lineman out of the way. Got it set and spotted with the 11. But they're back in the shotgun.
Yeah.
Looking over to the sideline.
Like you said, if you're going to spike it, you don't take the shotgun snap. Get under center. Do it as quick as you possibly can. The problem resulted, though, from throwing the ball to Haskey inbounds, making him have to fall down to catch it. He's got to make that catch and get out of bounds so you don't have to waste all that time.
What does this mean to Arizona? If they don't get a Hail Mary against them here, think about this. Wisconsin plays number 5 UCLA. Number 4 Kansas State lost last night. Number 3 Ohio State plays Texas A&M, as hot a team as there is out there. If Tennessee beats number 2 Florida State big, and the other guys lose, Arizona could finish number 2 in the country, could finish number 3 in the country. They'll definitely finish in the top 5, which will be the best ranking in the history of this school. With a lot coming back, they do lose the senior McAllister. Good things could be ahead.
Well, they lose some guys that have been really critical to their chemistry, but a lot of their talented players will be back in '99.
Here's the game. Is there holiday magic in Crouch's arm? He uncorks one. Incomplete. The game is over. And Arizona has capped off the best season in the history of the school, winning the Culligan Holiday Bowl by 3. For the first time in 30 years, the Nebraska team has lost 4 games in a season. And for the first time ever, Arizona football will end the season in the top 5. What a terrific